Buzz buzz buzz. Buzz buzz buzz. Buzz buzz buzz. Buzz buzz buzz. Violent sword hums constantly rang out. Next. Shua. A sword flew out, uncontrollably flying out. My sword, my sword. I can't control it. What's the situation? My sword is completely out of control. I can't catch it at all. All the swords were being controlled by the aura on Long Fei's body, as though there was another gigantic magnet on his body, causing the swords on their bodies to tremble violently. Dongfang Jian's sword could not even support flying out with a whoosh. Xiao Changfeng's sword was the same. Liu Luoshi and the three sisters' swords also flew out. Everyone's swords flew to the top of Xiong Longfei's head, spinning non-stop. The ones that injured Xiao Changfeng were only the illusionary swords, but this time, they were all real swords. Dozens of swords began to spin. Long Fei moved his body and stabbed forward. Break for me, whoosh whoosh whoosh, asterisk boom, boom, boom. When the 10,000 swords returned to the sect, the gods and ghosts were shocked. Nagong Ao's expression changed greatly. This time, Long Fei's strength had once again exceeded his expectations. Hualala. Huala. The blood spirit could not withstand the pressure and cried out as it retreated. Several tens of swords flew down, and at this moment, Long Fei's dragon Salia suddenly changed. In the air, he consecutively slashed out 7 moves Dragon Chop. Shua. Just as the flying swords were constantly flying towards Nagong Ao, Long Fei released his Dragon Chop. At this moment, the swords and sabers chimed together. The sword danced wildly. It wreaked havoc in the surroundings. Teleport. Long Fei's body moved. The hurricane slash swept Nagong Ao up into the air and released the Dragon Chop. The blood-colored sword Qi and the flaming blade Qi fused together. At the same time, the roar of the wild mountain devil. The divine tiger's angry roars overlapped. In mid-air, Long Fei was like a god of death, a dancing god of death, madly killing everything on his path. 100 slashes. Shua. 160 slashes. Shua. 220th slash. Die. Boom. Looking at the last drop of blood on top of Nagong Ao's head, Long Fei roared out, and released his last slash. Boom. Countless cracks covered Nagong Ao's body, but not even blood flowed out from the cracks, as though the blood had been cut off and forgotten. Nagong Ao crawled up from the ground, as he furiously roared with his head raised, "Ah! Long Fei, I want. I. Poochie. Ah!" His entire body was divided into 220 pieces, and was separated from his body piece by piece. "Ah! Save me, save me, save me." The incomparably arrogant Nagong Ao, at this moment, was not one bit arrogant. Bam! In the end, his head flew out and rolled at Nagong Hua's feet. Long Fei moved a bit, placing his shoulder on top of it and swept his eyes across the place. Fuck, who else is there? His domineering aura leaked out. Arrogant beyond belief. At this moment. Ding. Congratulations to player Long Fei for killing Nagong Ao, disciple of the Blood Refinement Sect, for obtaining 100 experience points, 120 true breath, 100 energy values, and 100 points. Congratulations to the player Long Fei for obtaining the Blood Spirits Fusion. Congratulations to player Long Fei. A series of notifications sounded. If not for the fact that Long Fei wanted to leave striking energy value with Nagong Hua, he really wanted to explode with Nagong Ao. After all, he was a genius disciple of the Blood Refinement Sect. Without waiting for Long Fei's order. Ding. The Spirit Gathering Pearl has swallowed the Blood Spirit. Ding. The Spiritual Gathering Pearl has been filled. Ding. Do you want to release it? Please choose your weapon. Long Fei thought for a while, then said, I don't even have a sword, I can't just bring the dragon Salia up there, right? The blade is a blade, and the sword is a sword, they all have their own unique characteristics. Dragon Salia's solitary 9 swords was indeed powerful. However, this was because Dragon Salia themselves were strong, and were just holy artifact. If the same holy artifact level sword was used to release the solitary 9 swords, then even more damage would be released. Thus, Long Fei thought for a moment, then said, not fusing yet. He thought to himself, I should think of a way to make a sword. Everyone was stunned. Nagong Ao was instantly killed. When he first appeared, he was so arrogant and superior that he could kill a person instantly with a single kick on the stage. But killed him instantly. That wild dance of sword and blood was simply too shocking. In the end, when Nagong Ao died, his entire body was separated from his body. Nangong Hua's body slightly sank, and he was slightly unable to stand steadily. His body swayed as he muttered, Aoa, Aoa, my Aoa. Nagong Ao was his most proud son. He was also the strongest son in terms of martial arts training. The reason why he had hidden away for 16 years was so that he could amaze the world with one move, but she was killed the moment she thought about it. He was going crazy. Ah! 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 Nangong Hua bellowed, Long Fei, I will kill you. Long Fei laughed contemptuously. Everyone says that they want to kill me, so normally, those who talk to me like this will all die under my hands in the end. All right. Nangong Hua, I am already at the top of the ZG realm. Long Fei smiled faintly and said, shouldn't you be giving me an additional title? Right. Elder Xiao, do you want to give me your Heaven Sect's qualification token? Long Fei laughed. Without any hesitation, Xiao Changfeng took out an order badge from his bosom and threw it to Long Fei. Long Fei, take care yourself. Finished. Xiao Changfeng supported Dongfang Jian and was about to leave. Nangong Hua let out a heavy roar, and said, did I let you leave? Xiao Changfeng frowned, and said, Nangong Hua, you dare. Long Fei didn't care about their flame war. Instead, he looked at Fatty Wang and said, today, you are the only one who stood on my side. You're very lucky, because you're on the right side. This token is yours. After Long Fei received the order badge, he directly threw it to Wang Jinglian. When the order badge flew in the air, Long Fei smiled and said, Fatty Wang, accepting this means that you are a member of my Long family. If Nangong Hua wants to kill you, it's fine even if you don't accept it. Not waiting for him to finish, Wang Jing stepped forward and took the token in his hands. Young Marquis Long, I'll follow you from now on. Ha ha ha. Fatty Wang still agreed to Long Fei's temper. Seeing him accept the token, Zhongshen smiled. Then, Long Fei moved, pointed at Nangong Hua, and said, the next one is you. Chapter 2. 8_8419235652. It was also at this time. Ding. A system announcement rang out in Long Fei's mind. Congratulations to the player Long Fei for completing the Peak of the Purple Taboo quest. Congratulations to player Long Fei for obtaining a bit of experience points, point of true breath, and 1000 points reward. Ding. Congratulations to player Long Fei for obtaining the S rating. Yes. Long Fei clenched his fists tightly and became excited. Only by completing the S rank would he be able to obtain a special reward, which was also a special reward related to the Dragon Salia mission. Ding. Congratulations to the player Long Fei for obtaining the clue to the Dragon Salia's task reward, the Supreme Temple. Tai Temple? Long Fei's heart sank, and thought to himself, the other half of the Dragon Salia is at the Tai Temple? Ha ha ha. Now you don't have to worry about it anymore. Once the mission was completed, the other half of the Dragon Salia knew about it. Now, what was left was to kill, and that was to explode. Long Fei yelled again, and said, Nangong Hua, the next one is you. Heh. Ha ha ha. Nangong Hua laughed out loud and said, challenge me? Long Fei, do you really think you're my match? Do you really think you can make it out tonight? Your Long family has already been annihilated, the sounds of battle outside the palace have disappeared. In other words, the Three Pillars family has won, and you are only the last survivor of the Long family. Are you only at the first level of War Chief? Nangong Hua was extremely disdainful. Everything tonight was prepared for Long Fei. There was a Three Pillars outside the palace and an expert from the Blood Refinement sect inside the palace. From the very beginning, Nangong Hua wanted to cut the grass at its roots. While he was speaking, a guard anxiously ran in and whispered into Nangong Hua's ear. Nangong Hua's face changed, he stared at Long Fei and bellowed, what did you say? At this moment, Long Fei laughed, Nangong Hua, just who was it that was killed? Huh? His voice suddenly rose as Long Fei sneered. You think that a mere 3 pillars would be able to destroy my Long family? Nangong Hua's anger roiled, her voice was trembling as she said solemnly, Long Fei, so it turns out that you had been prepared for a long time now. The Long family's army was brought into the city by you without anyone noticing. I don't even know anything. At this moment, the Long family's army had already surrounded the palace. The Long family's army was victorious in all aspects. Nangong Yang's eyes trembled as he said, Your Majesty, what did you say? My father, have they lost? Ha ha ha. Long Fei laughed wildly, and said, Nangong Yang, do you still think that our Long family will lose without a doubt? Not only did your father lose, all of your father's Nangong army were already killed. From the moment Nangong Lai gave his reward to my grandfather, I swore to make your family pay. The price is death. And then, Long Fei looked at Nangong Hua coldly, and laughed, Nangong Hua, do you have the qualifications to fight with me now? Long family's army has already taken over the palace. You don't have the qualifications to fight me, ha ha ha. Long Fei continued to speak, Nangong Hua, if you kneel down and kowtow to this daddy now, I will never enjoy the feeling of being kowtowed to someone from the Nangong family. Ah! Nangong Hua roared, Long Fei, you're too arrogant. Long Fei said, How arrogant? Why do I feel like I'm not wild enough? Ha ha ha. So what if the Long family army has surrounded the palace? Do you think that someone with military merits from the Long family can come in? Nangong Hua said in a deep voice, Even if the Long family's army invades, you will still die before them. Don't even think about escaping. Nangong Hua shouted, Disciples of the blood refinement sect, listen up. Kill them all. Ha! The 18 experts of the blood refinement sect suddenly moved, and one of them transformed into a boundless blood shadow that crushed Xiong Long Fei. An expert of the War Elder realm, the pressure was like a mountain, crushing down heavily. Long Fei was unable to move, and he hated the feeling of being suppressed by the pressure the most. Who dares to touch my master? Roar! A white silhouette flashed past, and Xiao Bai opened his bloody mouth to directly swallow the expert from the blood refining sect. Rumble! An incomparably ferocious white wolf standing beside Long Fei roared out, and the might of a divine beast completely exploded outwards. Who the hell dares to touch my master? Ah! Who? If you have the guts, then stand up for lousy. Damn it! Too domineering. The experts of the blood refining sect instantly retreated, and were shocked by the aura of a divine beast on Xiao Bai's body to the point where they spat out blood. Divine beast? The 3 sisters were the most shocked. Xiao Bai is actually a divine beast. Why didn't you notice it before? Only divine beasts could speak before they reached the level of paragons. Nangong Hua was absolutely furious in his heart. Long Fei had all kinds of good things, including holy artifact-s, divine level techniques, and even the women of Phoenix blood lineage. Besides a huge dragon, there was also a divine beast, White Wolf. He hated it. He gritted his teeth in hatred. Nangong Hua's fists shook, the clothes on his body instantly burst apart from the force, and he said sinisterly, On that day, I should have killed you. It's all my fault for being soft-hearted at the moment. Long Fei's gaze turned sinister as he said, The one who extracted my dragon blood and crushed the pubes was actually you. Ha ha ha. Nangong Hua laughed crazily. Back then, I killed you one sword strike at a time. I really shouldn't have kept you here. Right now, he felt incomparable regret. Back then, he wanted the entire Fireglass City to laugh at the Long family for producing such a trash, but he never expected that Long Fei would rise up like a soaring dragon a year later. He regretted it too much. Nangong Hua continued, Not only you, all of the past geniuses of your Long family, and the untimely death of the Dragon God warriors, were all done by our Nangong Imperial clan. And your Dragon Salya, it was our Nangong Imperial clan that used the killing array to kill him when he was in Fireglass City. It was just that we didn't expect him to use his last breath to cut our Dragon Salya in half. The Long family must be exterminated. Who would have thought that all of this was done by the Nangong Imperial clan? Who could imagine? Right at this time, Nangong Hua suddenly roared, Where are the Imperial guards? Ha, whoosh whoosh whoosh, asterisk whoosh whoosh whoosh, asterisk golden armored warriors rushed out from all directions. They moved their spears and shouted in unison, their voices shaking the heavens. Kill them all. Nangong pulled out his sword and pointed it at Xiong Longfei, saying, Kill. At this moment, Long Fei simultaneously roared out, Kill. Yuan Bin took out his long sword and tore off the armor on his right arm, revealing a red cloth. At this moment, half of the Imperial Guards tore off the armor on their right shoulder, revealing the red cloth. Kill. Whoosh whoosh whoosh, asterisk ah. Ah, why? Why did you kill me? In less than a minute, 300 to 400 Imperial Guards were killed by their men. Nangong Hua was dumbfounded. Chapter 3. 8_841923556523. How could he have imagined that the Imperial Guards that were directly under the command of the Nangong Imperial clan would have so many Long family members? How could he have imagined that the Imperial Guards that were directly under the command of the Nangong Imperial clan would have so many Long family members? What was going on? For a moment, even he didn't know how to react. Long Fei smiled slightly. Do you think that the people from the Long family are idiots? Do you think that the people of the Long family are just going to be manipulated by you, Nangong Hua, all these years? If the Long family did not consider their loyalty and filial piety, replacing your Nangong Imperial clan would be as simple as squashing an ant to death. It is your Nangong Imperial clan that is heartless to my Long family. Today, your Nangong Imperial clan will pay the price for this. Long Fei killed him with every word he said. At this point, Long Fei was definitely not merciful in the slightest. What Nangong Hua had said made him want to kill the Nangong family. He was definitely not going to give him the slightest chance. Good, good, good. Nangong Hua laughed sinisterly. Even if I missed you in all my calculations, you have exceeded my expectations, but this world, the strong are respected, it's just a piece of trash whose dragon blood was drawn out, and whose pubes was shattered. While they were talking, boom, Nangong Hua's body suddenly exploded as his upper body turned scarlet. He took a step forward, boom. The surrounding people were all forced to retreat. Boom. A deep footprint immediately appeared on the thick marble. Taking 2 steps forward, he fiercely flew forward and with a flick of his fingers, locked onto Xiong Longfei's throat and said, Brat, go and die. Long Fei, be careful. Young master, be careful. Young lord. Xiao Bai was enraged. He released the power of a divine beast. His eyes turned sinister. A powerful divine beast rushed out, with just you. He instantly charged forward. Roar. Nangong Hua punched out. Xiao Bai blocked it, but in that moment, Nangong Hua's figure suddenly disappeared, his surroundings turning into a blood mist. And after that, Xiao Bai's battle experience was too little. He did not understand the insidiousness of the human heart. He suddenly shouted in alarm, Master, be careful. Too late. Nangong Hua suddenly appeared out of thin air. His hand was only a few centimeters away from Long Fei's throat, but he did not say anything. Even with these few centimeters, he could not enter even half a centimeter. Because a air shield appeared on Long Fei's body. Invincible defense. The power of the Wild Mountain Devil's sacred art. Long Fei's back was drenched in cold sweat. He had to admit that Nangong Hua's cultivation was extremely high. If not for Long Fei's quick reaction, his throat would have already been broken. Looking at the sinister expression on Nangong Hua's face, Long Fei's right arm sank, right arm's godly strength. Boom. A punch exploded. It struck on Nangong Hua's abdomen. It was also at this moment. The air shield on Long Fei's body disappeared. Nangong Hua was also flung out. This punch took Long Fei 3 whole minutes to brew. All of his power was released. Although the large power King Kong Ape's power could not kill him in a second, a scarlet number floated up above Nangong Hua's head. At the same time, the blood on top of Nangong Hua's head also showed up. It was a whole 1,000,000 points. Who? Boss level. Long Fei grinned excitedly. He didn't wait for Nangong Hua to get up from the ground. Whoosh. Both of Long Fei's fists exploded, and like lightning, he blasted out. Bang, bang, bang. It was like a violent storm. Every punch was filled with all the power one could muster. Nangong frantically tried to resist, trying his best to resist. However, Long Fei's fists did not cause too much damage, they were all in 3 figures. It was too low. Splitting pulse art. Boom. Both fists smashed onto the ground, causing the ground to crack as a huge force of vibration bounced Nangong off his feet. At this very moment, both of Long Fei's fists moved, and blasted out like heavy cannons. Mountain hit fist. Boom. It was a heavy blow. Nangong's body was sent flying in the air. While he was sick, he had to take his life. Long Fei did not miss such an excellent opportunity. Nangong was already stunned. If he was given half a second to regain his senses, Long Fei would not be his match. The difference in realm was too big. The realm was everything. No matter how strong the holy artifact was, no matter how strong the technique was, without a class advantage, these things could not be displayed. Wushuang. Wung. With one step, Long Fei rushed into the sky and opened Wushuang's door. All attributes were doubled. Teleport. Whoosh. With one step, and the instant he flew, Long Fei held the dragon Salia in his hand and hacked out 7 times, as he shouted at Nangong who was in mid-air, Dragon Chop. Boom, whoosh whoosh whoosh, asterisk whoosh whoosh whoosh, asterisk below Wushuang, his attributes were doubled. Beneath the dragon Salia, the damage of the dragon Salia technique increased by a ton, continuously slashing. 107th slash. 123 slashes. 200 slashes. 220th slash. Break. Boom. Nangong's body heavily fell down, smashing onto the ground. A deep crater was formed on the ground, and the entire palace was trembling. Nangong did not die. 1,000,000 HP was simply too much. He got up from the ground and laughed maniacally. Ha ha ha. Ha ha ha. Long Fei. You won't be able to kill me. Trash like you won't be able to kill me. You're too weak. Ha ha ha. Can't we kill him? You only have a measly 100,000 points left, and you still dare to act so arrogantly here? Long Fei sneered in his heart, and his voice gradually grew louder. You're being arrogant in front of me? I'll let you know what happens if you continue to act so arrogantly in front of me. Solitary 9 swords. 10,000 swords returned to Sek. Boom. Long Fei was furious. The true breath continued to wreak havoc, and at the same time, the swords of the Imperial Guards all flew towards Long Fei who was in the air. Long Fei's idea sunk. He rushed towards Nangong who was in the deep pit and shouted, I shall see if you die or not. Kill, whoosh whoosh whoosh, asterisk boom, boom, boom. Each of the flying swords exploded downwards like a bomb, causing scarlet-red damage to continuously float upwards above Nangong's head. Arrogant. Motherf asterisk ka. Continue being arrogant for lousy. Can't kill you. Shout again. Long Fei was furious as well. He swung his dragon Salia and descended from the sky and slashed down with his blade. Nangong was smashed to the ground and knelt down. His bun was scattered everywhere and his entire body was dripping with blood. Looking at Long Fei who was in the sky, Nangong's entire body was trembling. You can't kill me, you can't. Finally, Nangong shouted loudly, Father, save me. Boom. The sky above Violet Gold Temple exploded loudly. The clouds churned and a huge face appeared within the clouds as he shouted angrily, Stop. Master Nangong. Nangong Wudi's face. Stop. Who the hell are you? If you tell Lousy to stop, then stop. Long Fei opened his mouth and roared, T, stop your sister. Table of contents, die. Without caring about anything else, the saber slashed down. How could he not give up his experience? Explode for me. Chapter 4. 8_84_19_2356524. No one could stop Long Fei. No one could stop Long Fei. Nobody. This time, he would definitely slash down. For the sake of experience, for the sake of true breath, for the sake of the dragon Salia, and also for the sake of the Long family. Unstoppable. The power of Mountain Hit Fist, the power of the peerless attribute, the power of the great desolate mountain demon king and the godly tiger blood lineage all burst out from his arms as he slashed down. The blood-red saber chi shot straight into the sky, tearing apart the thick layer of clouds and roared, "No one can stop me. Kill. Catcher." A flash of lightning slashed down. He directly slashed between Nangonghwa's eyebrows, and his body was instantly split into two halves. The blade energy shook the entire violet gold temple, and split it into two, before collapsing with a loud bang. Standing in the deep pit, stepping on Nangonghwa's corpse, he roared, "Can't kill? Is he dead now?" At this moment, Long Fei moved. "Touch your striking attribute, Dragon Salia, Dragon Salia. You must reveal the other half of the Dragon Salia for me." Ding. Congratulations to player Long Fei for killing Nangonghwa, for gaining EXP, true breath points, energy values, and points, 10. Congratulations to player Long Fei for obtaining Sky Tyrant armor. Congratulations to player Long Fei for obtaining the Sky Tyrant sword. Congratulations to player Long Fei for obtaining Overlord God Wing. Congratulations to player Long Fei for obtaining Sky Tyrant boots. Congratulations to player Long Fei for obtaining the Emperor's Vein Jade Seal. A series of notifications sounded. As Long Fei listened, his expression became more and more excited. "The set has dropped, a set, ha ha ha. A set dropped. Striking attribute is striking attribute, it's too much." Long Fei looked at the items that dropped one by one. He was way too excited. Every time he used Berserk energy, it felt so good. However, Long Fei also clearly understood in his heart that striking attribute wasn't something that could be casually used to drop good items. For example, for the first time, the toad had only dropped a single divine ranked martial technique. Because the toad's level was too low, so it had to use its striking attribute on the boss in order to drop even more powerful items. And then, Long Fei immediately checked the properties of the equipment. Item, Sky Tyrant armor grade, divine level description, able to resist attacks below the War Emperor realm. Item, Sky Tyrant sword grade, divine level description, attached with a set of the Sky Tyrant sword technique, the ability to gather the power of the sky in an instant and cause 10 times the critical amount of damage. Item, Overlord God Wing grade, divine level description, increases flight speed. Item, Sky Tyrant boots grade, divine level description, able to increase movement speed by twofold, with a wind attribute bonus of 10%. They are all divine level. Long Fei was so excited that he was a little confused. It was already impressive to have dropped a piece of divine level equipment, but to have dropped 4 pieces, and it was even a set. Ding. Wear it. Yes, sir. Without any hesitation, Long Fei moved the idea and immediately equipped all of these items. Ding. Do you want to hide your appearance? Long Fei thought for a moment, then said, yes. In order not to cause chaos or to hide his appearance, a set of divine level equipment was too eye-catching. Moreover, Long Fei was not the only one here. There was also the Blood Refinement sect and the Xiong Tian sect. Keep a low profile. Keeping a low profile was the way to go. Furthermore, he could control it as he wished. As long as the idea moved, he could release the external appearances of these tyrant-equivalent equipment. The complete set of black armor, wings, sword, and battle boots were all engraved with simple runes. This was the perfect combination of refining and the power of runes. The power of Tyrant's equipment also came from these runes. He had revealed a set of godly equipment. It was indeed enjoyable, but the only thing that made Long Fei unhappy was that he did not reveal the other half of the Dragon Salia. Seems like I have to complete the Dragon Salia mission personally. Long Fei's heart trembled. As Long Fei excitedly observed the equipment, everyone in the courtyard of Violet Gold Temple looked at Long Fei in a daze. Is he still human? No, he is a god. Is he really human? Damn, I already said he is a god. He's simply not a human. Your sister, your father said that he is a god, but your mother is an idiot. I said he's a god, a god, a god. If you dare to say another word, I'll kill you. Unparalleled power. Killing Nagong Ao in a second, and then killing Nangonghwa in a second, Long Fei unleashed an incomparable power every single time, looking extremely intrepid. Every time he broke his limits. Nangonghwa's cultivation was too strong. But so what? He still died in the hands of Long Fei. Every time Long Fei released his cultivation technique, it would always be incomparably powerful, and simply did not give Nangonghua any chance to retaliate, as there was absolutely no leeway for him to do so. Xiao Changfeng frowned. He was extremely shocked. Too powerful, too powerful. His talent is probably comparable to Hong Tianjuan's, but I have never seen such a shocking power. The three sisters of the Heaven sect. Xiao Tiantian laughed until he cried, "Bastard, you're so strong, I can't even control you." Yi Zian also said, "He's too handsome. He's the most handsome person I've ever seen. How can he be this handsome? He can't take it anymore, he can't take it anymore. I have to fall for him more and more uncontrollably." Liu Luoshi looked at Long Fei quietly. Her shock was stronger than anyone else. In just a few short months, from killing the large power King Kong ape to now, you have grown too fast. I am completely unable to keep up. I am completely unable to keep up. Jojo was very simple. He simply jumped up from the ground and made a hand motion. "Yay, young master is awesome." Dongfang Jian had a dead look on his face. He had always thought that he was stronger than Long Fei. He had always felt that he was superior to him and had always looked down upon Long Fei. Every time he met Long Fei, he was always the loser. To kill Nangonghua, he simply could not do it. This feeling was very uncomfortable, as if he had been fiercely slapped. The most uncomfortable part of all belonged to Nangong Yang. Her whole body trembled and her heart kept shouting, "Why, why, why?" Deep in his heart, he was filled with hatred. They were screaming non-stop, but why was that so? 36 search. Half floating // equals how did Long Fei become so strong? Why did I always lose to him? Why did the women beside him keep on coming? Why did he disdain to obtain anything that he could only fight for by risking his life? Why was this happening? Chapter 5. 8_841923565525. Amongst these people, Nangong Yang was the most arrogant, and the one who would most hate to see Long Fei become stronger. Amongst these people, Nangong Yang was the most arrogant, and the one who would most hate to see Long Fei become stronger. She had always thought that her choice was the right one. Long Fei possessed the dragon god's blood lineage, and had asked her father to propose a marriage arrangement, allowing Nangonghua to propose a marriage. Because at that time, she knew that she would definitely become the strongest woman in the Fire Glass City, because of the dragon god blood lineage. After Long Fei was crippled, her face immediately changed like flipping a book as she drew a clear line between them. At the same time, she was also looking for a better replacement. Dongfang Jian appeared. Once again, she made a choice. The Sky Sect was above the Fire Glass Dynasty. As long as she followed Dongfang Jian, she could look down on Long Fei. Dongfang Jian had also allowed her to enjoy limitless glory. But now, it turned out that she had once again made the wrong choice. The divine Zhuge family was gone, her grandfather was dead, and her father was probably dead as well. Right now, she was the only one left. Even if Dongfang Jian could not protect himself in this situation, it would be hard to bring her away. All of a sudden, Nangong Yang had already walked to the edge of the cliff. She could have been high and mighty, but now, at this time, the leader of the blood refinement sect let out a cold laugh and said, "Looks like this place is over. The Nangong Imperial clan no longer has any value. In that case, we should leave as well." Long Fei's eyes turned sinister as he looked at the man. That person also noticed Long Fei's ice-cold gaze and could not help but sneer. "What? I want to leave, do you still want to stay? Long Fei, you are very strong, but if you want to go against the blood refinement sect, you don't have the qualifications." Finished. The man's eyes narrowed and he shouted, "Disciples of the blood refinement sect, listen up. Go back. Wait a minute." Suddenly, Nangong Yang walked up, directly kneeling on the ground, and said, "Please bring me along, I am willing to do anything." "Huh." The man who was chasing after the three Sky Sect sisters in the Fire Glass Mountain range laughed lewdly and said, "Are you willing to do anything?" Nangong Yang immediately took off his outer garment, revealing an apron that covered his snow-white skin. With boundless temptation, he said, "I'm willing to do anything." While they were talking, there were no ripples in her eyes. It was as if she was dead. Dongfang Jian took a step forward and said, Sister Yang, why are you doing this? I will bring you to the sect. Nangong Yang said coldly, Heaven sect? Can you help me kill Long Fei? You can't, you are just a piece of trash. I, Nangong Yang, am definitely not going to be with a piece of trash for the rest of my life. Ha ha ha. That blood refinement sect disciple laughed out loud and said, he can't, as long as our blood refinement sect is able to join our blood refinement sect, it would take you less than 3 years to kill Long Fei. I heard that your marriage contract has 3 years more to go. It just so happens that you have 3 years to get married and kill Long Fei. Just thinking about it makes you excited. Ha ha ha. Come. He extended his hand out to Nangong Yang. Long Fei, just you wait. Sooner or later, I'll come back, and I'll return everything that happened today to you 10,000 times over. I, Nangong Yang, swear to the heavens. Finished. She took out a dagger and slashed at her beautiful face. His face was ruined. A long scar appeared, and fresh blood dripped down. The blood refinement sect disciple was taken aback, but he didn't let go. He let out a strange laugh and said, You're looking more and more like a disciple of our blood refinement sect. Ha ha ha. Immediately, the group of people moved as fast as lightning. In the night sky. Long Fei, just you wait. Ha ha ha. A mournful, ghost-like laughter rang out in the air. Long Fei walked out of the pit, shaking his head and smiling bitterly. What's the point of this? Actually, Long Fei didn't plan to kill her, but from the looks of it, if they met each other in the future, it would definitely be a fight to the death. Xiao Changfeng hugged his hands, and said, Long Fei, I am extremely grateful for today's matter. In the future, when the day comes, I will definitely repay you. In return for what? Repay him? Xiao Changfeng, is your brain full of shit? If it wasn't for him, I would have been reduced to this state. If it wasn't for him, would Yang Shifei have left me? Long Fei, if you dare take a step into the heaven sect, I will break your legs. Dongfang Jian said as he gnashed his teeth. Liu Luoshi immediately asked, Dongfang Jian, what did you say? Xiao Tiantian also scolded, do you think that the heaven sect is your home? Huh. Yi Xian imitated Long Fei's words and said, I'm giving you face, right? Long Fei's mouth curved up and said coldly, why wait until the time of the previous sky sect? Now come and break my legs. Come on. Dongfang Jian frowned and did not make a sound. Long Fei suddenly roared and said angrily, come the F***CK, are you scared now? While they were talking, the dense qi on Long Fei's body rushed forward, the dragon Salia released a violent blade cry, the blood-red blade aura on the blade's body continued to flicker. Killing intent. An incredibly thick killing intent. Dongfang Jian clenched his fists tightly, but he did not dare say a single word. Xiao Changfeng knelt on the ground and said, Long Fei, please forgive young master Dongfang, this old servant will kowtow for you. Dongfang Xiong was his benefactor. For Dongfang Jian, no matter how much humiliation he received, he would definitely not frown, just like how he was going to defend Dongfang Jian from the attacks of the illusionary swords. He did not frown. Because he owed the Dongfang family. Liu Luoshi also said slightly, Long Fei, forget it. She was worried that Long Fei would be rash. If Dongfang Jian died, Dongfang Xiong would definitely be enraged, and at that time, even the entire Fire Glass dynasty would be annihilated. Compared to the Heaven sect, the Fire Glass dynasty was still too weak. Yi Xian also said, yes, forget it, you still have to come back to the Heaven sect. She was worried that Dongfang Xiong would make things difficult for him if he became a disciple of the Heaven sect. They all knew in their hearts that Long Fei would come to the Heaven sect. Offending the vice sect master was definitely not a wise choice. Although Long Fei was impulsive, he was not stupid. He stared coldly at Dongfang Jian and said, Dongfang Jian, if you have the ability, then fight with me just now. Don't say anything useless. Dongfang Jian said fiercely, Long Fei, I'm waiting for you at the Heaven sect. If you have the guts, come. After he finished speaking, Dongfang Jian flung his sleeves and walked out in large strides. Xiao Changfeng saluted Long Fei and hurriedly followed him. Kill Dongfang Jian? It wasn't hard. However. And after he was killed? Right now, Fireglass dynasty was in a state of turmoil. If they were to offend the Chao Tian sect, Fireglass dynasty would definitely fall into the flames of war once again. The Long family would also be unable to withstand it. Killing Dongfang Jian at this time was not a wise decision, and Long Fei was very clear on this point. The Long family couldn't make too many enemies at the moment. The blood refinement sect must have formed an enmity with them. If they were to fall out with the Chao Tian sect, it would be very disadvantageous to the Long family. Long Fei's heart sank, his fists clenched tightly. Still not strong enough. I'm still too weak. I'm still not strong enough. Chapter 6. 8_841923565526. In a world where the strong were respected, only the strong were respected. In a world where the strong were respected, only the strong were respected. Only the strong could look down on the world. Only the strong are the men at the top of the food chain. The law of the jungle was an unchangeable law of survival in any world. Long Fei was very clear of this point. After Xiao Changfeng and the others left, Long Fei ordered, Commander Yuan, Grandpa, Big Uncle and the others should be attacking the palace. Yuan Bin immediately shouted, as you command. If the 500 Imperial Guards killed their way out of the palace, then even if it was just 500 Imperial Guards, once the palace gates were opened, it would have a decisive effect. Following that, Long Fei looked at Liu Luoshi and said, you guys also leave. Fatty Wang, protect them well. You have performed well today. Wang Jing grinned excitedly. Don't worry, even if I, Fatty Wang, were to risk my life, I will still ensure their safety. He was the biggest winner tonight. The Wang family was just a small government official with no influence. Before he came, his father had specifically instructed him not to stand in teams. Regardless of whether it was the Nangong Imperial clan or the Long clan, they would not stand in teams. Because this was the only way to survive. Any one of them would be able to survive if they defeated him. But facing Nangong Yang's bullying, he, Fatty Wang, was very unhappy and directly stood on Long Fei's side. Who would have thought that he wouldn't have done anything? Not only had he obtained the token to become a qualified disciple of the Heaven sect, he had even become the general of the imperial court. In his heart, he thought, there must be smoke coming from the ancestral tombs. I must pay my respects when I go back. Jojo asked with concern, young master, what about you? Liu Luoshi also asked, yes, where are you going? Now, as long as the Long family army attacks, everything will be settled. Where are you going? Long Fei grinned and said, I still have some things to do. Wait for me at the Long family residence, I will be back soon. I want to stay, it's too exciting to follow you, eh? Xiao Tiantian immediately laughed and said. She felt that she couldn't leave Long Fei's side anymore. Being together with Long Fei was always so exciting. Yi Xian joked, little junior sister apprentice, you might as well be glued to Long Fei's body. Xiao Tiantian said eagerly, all right, your head. Liu Luoshi reprimanded him and said, let's go, he is so strong, he alone is fine, there's no need to worry. She vaguely felt that there was something else in Long Fei's mind. Moreover, it was a dangerous thing to do, or he wouldn't have driven them away. It was related to Nangong Wudi. His heart was full of questions too, as he thought to himself, why hasn't his son and grandson appeared yet? A shadow appeared in the sky. Could it be that he escaped? Liu Luoshi pulled Xiao Tiantian and urged him, let's go, hurry, he'll be back soon. While they were talking, she turned and looked at Xiong Longfei, her eyes filled with worry. Long Fei didn't want them to be in danger. Long Fei looked at Liu Luoshi, feeling that she understood him the best, and smiled faintly, let's go, I will be fine. Fatty Wang walked to the main entrance, made a gesture to invite them in, and said, sisters, please. Xiao Tiantian laughed and said, what did you call us? Eldest sister-in-law Fatty Wang said. He. Xiao Tiantian laughed, let's hear it again. Fatty Wang immediately replied, sister-in-law. Ha ha ha. Xiao Tiantian's smile was like a flower, and it faintly rose to be sweetened in their hearts. However, all of them were more reserved than Xiao Tiantian, and all of them suppressed the joy in their hearts. Only Long Fei and Xiao Bai was left in the courtyard. Long Fei grinned and said, "It's time to get back to business." Xiao Bai said, "Master, are you looking for the other half of the dragon Salya?" Heh. Let's go to the Grand Temple and take down the Nangong clan's ancestral tombs. Long Fei was excited. His most important goal tonight was the other half of the dragon Salya. It did not burst out from Nangong Hua's body, so he could only go to the Tai Temple. However, Long Fei's heart was also slightly tightened. The image of Nangong Wudi that was filled with dense energy, exactly how strong was it? He didn't know. He was not confident at all, because Nangong Wudi was too strong. It was actually able to condense a shadow in midair using the true breath. This was definitely not something that a war master could achieve. The reason he sent Liu Luoshi and the others away was also because of this. He had to go to the Grand Temple. He had to find the Dragon Salya because this was the Long family's belief and was something that the Long family's master had left behind. As a descendant of the Long family, if they didn't dare to take back what the master had left behind, then what was the point of living in this world? As a man, there were some things that he had to do. Rumble. 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 The entrance of the imperial palace was breached by Yuan Bin, who cooperated with him on the outside. Meng Yu and Long Shan immediately rushed in, with Long Lei, Long Feng and Long Yun following closely behind. Immediately after, the Long family's troops rushed in like ferocious tigers. The imperial guards could not resist at all. Soon, he lost his ability to resist. Long Zhanhai bellowed, "Those who surrender, save yourself." Many of the imperial guards had put down their weapons and decided to surrender. It was no longer the power of the Nangong imperial clan. Long Sanfeng descended from the sky and asked, "Where's Xiao Fei?" Fatty Wang replied, "Young Marquis Long wants us to leave first. He's staying in the Violet Gold Temple alone, we don't know what he's doing. I just saw young Master Long Fei going towards the direction of the Supreme Temple." Long Sanfeng frowned and bellowed, "Damn it." Immediately, Long Sanfeng roared fiercely, all the energy in his body exploding out as he rushed towards the direction of the Great Temple. "Nangong Wudi, if you dare to even touch a single hair of my grandson, this father will forever be irreconcilable with you." Long Zhanhai shouted, "Long Yun, have you brought the dragon-locked tactical method dragon army that you have been secretly training with?" Long Yun frowned and replied, "Reporting to Patriarch, Yun Long army was heavily injured in the Great Desolate Mountain last time. Right now, there is only a small portion of Yun Long army left. This is bad." Long Zhanhai's heart sank. "Don't worry about it, Meng Yu, bring your men to clear out the remnants of the resistance. Not a single person from the Nangong family should let them escape, the remaining people all follow me. Long Fei, don't do anything stupid. Don't be rash." Long Zhanhai was very worried in his heart. It was not because he was worried about Nangong Wudi, but rather, inescapable snare tactical method. This was the strongest trump card of the Nangong imperial clan. This formation's destructive power was extremely strong, even more so than the dragon-locked tactical method. Once inside the formation, one could forget about coming out alive. Floating life, table of contents, no windows. A++ at the entrance to the temple. Long Fei stepped into the plaza and around him was a huge plaza. In the middle of the plaza was a huge building, and at the entrance of the building stood an old man. The old man was holding the other half of the Dragon Salya. It's out. Chapter 78_841923565527. Nangong Wudi. Nangong Wudi, the master of the Nangong imperial clan, the strongest warrior in the Fire Glass City. Buzz buzz buzz. Buzz buzz buzz. The Dragon Salya in Long Fei's hand trembled non-stop, releasing sets of ear-piercing blade sounds, as though it could fly out of his hand at any time. The Dragon Salya was roaring. Long Fei could feel that the roars inside its body were filled with rage. "Long Fei!" Nangong Wudi shouted in anger, his voice exploding in the night sky, causing the entire plaza to reverberate. Even Long Fei, who was a kilometer away from him, could feel the powerful aura. "Unrivaled power," Nangong Wudi said in a gloomy voice. "I never thought that the one who would overthrow my Nangong family would be a trash like you. I really shouldn't have let you live. Long Fei slowly walked into the temple and walked forward step by step. If you were talking about the past, then my Long family's ancestor should not have been able to rule over your Nangong family. Without my Long family, where would your Nangong family come from? It is your Nangong family that does not know how to cherish it. Those who touch my Long family, die. Your Nangong family has tolerated your Nangong family for so long, and the Long family has endured it repeatedly. However, your Nangong family is not repenting and has increased in strength. Since that's the case, we'll take back the world that belongs to our Long family. Long Fei walked very slowly, taking each step very carefully. His aura surged. However, he couldn't feel any danger at all. Even Xiao Bai, who was following beside him, could not detect it. There was only Nangong Wudi in the entire plaza, and no one else. Moreover, Long Fei had to step forward, because Nangong Wudi's body was glowing with a golden light. He had to step forward and kill this golden boss. Nangong Wudi laughed wildly, and said, "Your Long family's under heaven? Ha ha ha. How ridiculous. What kind of thing is your Long family? Do you think killing the other 3 pillars and killing the Nangong Imperial clan's Fire Glass dynasty is the world of your Long family? Stop dreaming. And you're going to die soon. Woo ha ha ha." Nangong Wudi laughed sinisterly, his eyes filled with killing intent in front of the true Supreme Temple. Long Fei laughed. "Your grandson said that I will die. I am alive, he is dead. Your son also said that I will die. I am still alive, he is dead. Now it is your turn." Humph. Nangong Wudi's gaze tensed up. "You are about to die yet you still dare to be so arrogant." Long Fei grinned and laughed. "Is this what you call arrogance? I'm even more arrogant than you have never seen before." While speaking, Long Fei walked forward another few steps. He stared at Nangong Wudi, who was covered in gold, and said, "A boss covered in gold, you have to kill him, ha ha ha. I must kill him." Seeing the boss made him drool, as if he was seeing a naked woman. He had to do it to her. Suddenly, a shout came from behind Long Fei, "Xiao Fei, don't ever enter the temple." Before anyone could make a sound, it fell. Long Fei turned around to look at the entrance that was a few hundred meters away. "Grandfather, why have you come?" "Ha ha ha. Lunatic Long, you came late, your darling grandson is going to die right now." Nangong Wudi laughed coldly, his brows shook, and his voice became hoarse as he shouted, "Inescapable snare tactical method, activate." As soon as he finished, a huge true breath surged from the center of Nangong Wudi's palm, as he slammed it onto the ground. The ground cracked. The countless true breaths in the crevices were moving recklessly, constantly blinking their cultivation techniques, causing the entire temple to tremble as endless killing intent poured out from within. Buzz, buzz, buzz. The floor of the temple split open, and a warrior in black armor walked out. They're not real people, they're ghost. They were all ghost warrior. Every one of them was a spirit body, but each one of them emitted a cruel aura, just like a real person. Thousands of spirits were gathered in the square. With the magic weapon in his hand, his gaze locked onto Long Fei. Lunatic Long's heart sank, anger soared to the skies. "Nangong Wudi, you dare." His heart was filled with incomparable shock. He had thought that the Imperial Net was the Nangong Imperial clan's strongest trump card, but he was also clear that the inescapable snare tactical method was extremely difficult to cultivate, even if it wasn't powerful enough. However, Dragon Madman never thought that the Nangong Imperial clan would actually kill all those who had cultivated the inescapable snare tactical method arts back then, refine their souls, and turn them into ghost magic weapon. That way, they would be able to completely preserve the power of the inescapable snare tactical method. Too vicious. The lives of thousands of people were refined just like that. Moreover, for thousands of years, he had been enslaved by the Nangong Imperial clan. He could only guard the square of the Supreme Temple and could never be reincarnated. He had to say it. The methods of the Nangong Imperial clan were too sinister. Ha ha ha. Lunatic Long, you also have times to be afraid. Nangong Wudi laughed coldly, and said, "Do you know who this was used against back then? They are the same people that were used to deal with you, Long family's dragon slayer. Back then, The Dragon Slayer Holy General killed all the evil demons and their bodies were completely exhausted. Afterwards, they were sealed in the valley by our Nangong Imperial clan with our inescapable snare tactical method. But I never thought that the Dragon Slayer god relied on the Supreme Artifact S to kill more than 1,000 of the Nangong family's elites, and the inescapable snare tactical method also lost its power at that time. No one would have thought that our Nangong family was a branch of the blood refinement sect at that time, using the blood refinement art to extract all of these dead souls, and then killing the other 1,800 elite inescapable snare tactical method cultivators, controlling their souls forever, allowing them to protect our Nangong family forever, ha ha ha. The more Nangong Wudi said, the more excited he became, as if he had done something great. The inescapable snare-tight tactical method has been preserved forever by our Nangong Imperial clan, their souls are forever under our control. Ha ha ha. The half of the dragon Salya in Nangong Wudi's hand trembled, and roared furiously, activate the formation, kill Long Fei and remove his soul for me. I want his soul to forever kneel in front of the Nangong Imperial clan's great temple, and I want your Long family to be eternally doomed. Ha ha ha. As soon as he finished speaking, the Ghost Warrior S started to revolve madly, as if they were huge machines. Long Sanfeng became anxious and rushed forward without a care for anything else, Xiao Fei. However, the moment he stepped into the vicinity of the temple, he was sent flying by a powerful aura. He then stuck on the wall of the temple and spat out a mouthful of blood. Strongest upgrade system. Nangong Wudi laughed loudly, ha ha ha. Lunatic Long, don't waste your energy. The Dragon Slayer god was an expert of the War Emperor realm back then, and even he was not able to charge out. He will slowly die in front of you. Watching his own grandson slowly die, this must be a great feeling. Ha ha ha. Long Fei stood in place. I understand that there is a boss here, but this formation can even be a boss. Chapter 8. 8_841923565528. There were two types of bosses. The humanoid boss had the shape of a demon beast. There were two types of bosses. The humanoid boss had the shape of a demon beast. But there's a boss in a formation. The formation that Long Fei was in was shining with a golden light, just like the golden light that was being released by Nangong Wudi, the boss's aura. However, these Ghost Warrior did not have any gold light on them, so Long Fei determined that this was the formation. Inescapable snare-tight tactical method. It was the end of the tree. In that instant, Long Fei shouted loudly, "Grandfather, don't come over." This array was very strong. In the middle of the array, Long Fei could feel the destructive force from the 9 heavens and earth. Indistinctly, this array was like a spiderweb, with power connecting every part of the body. I don't believe that I can't break this inescapable snare-tight tactical method of yours. Long Fei coldly snorted, I've broken through even the Long family's dragon-locked tactical method. Compared to the dragon-locked tactical method, your array formation only has a little more people, and the power link is only a little more powerful. Lunatic Long shivered and stood there in shock. He asked, Xiao Fei, did you break the Long family's dragon-locked tactical method? Nangong Wudi's face was also filled with shock. In terms of array level, the dragon-locked tactical method was above the inescapable snare-tight tactical method, but it had actually been broken by Long Fei. The creation of the Long family's ancestor had been unbreakable for tens of thousands of years. Even the Long family didn't know how to break it, they only knew how to refine a formation. He, a youth not even 20 years of age, was actually able to break the dragon-locked tactical method. Nangong Wudi laughed coldly, and said, Long Fei, you can brag as much as you want. The inescapable snare tactical method and the dragon-locked tactical method are completely different, just tremble inside this inescapable snare-tight tactical method, ha ha ha. He didn't believe Long Fei at all. Long Fei did not argue, breaking the array was the best proof. Suddenly, Long Fei's voice sunk as he shouted, Xiao Bai. Understood. Roar. Xiao Bai's gaze tensed up, and the aura on his body suddenly exploded. A huge illusion of a wolf god appeared beside it, and Xiao Bai roared out, Kill. Wolf god immediately rushed forward. When he blocked the attack from the ghost warrior, the power of the wolf god released out, violently shaking the area. A large part of the ghost warriors were blasted away. However, in the next second, these ghost warrior gathered back together. They were completely unable to cause any damage to their attacks. Ha ha ha. So what if it's a divine beast? Ghosts are spirits, they can't be killed at all, ha ha ha. Nangong Wudi laughed complacently. Looking at Xiaobai Lang, he was secretly shocked in his heart. This kid actually even has a divine beast. A divine beast, White Wolf. There was also a colossal dragon. Long Fei moved and shouted, Ice Fire. Understood. Boom. Long Fei took a step forward, flapped his wings, and directly charged into the sky, charging out from the hole in the ground. Nangong Wudi laughed coldly. You want to escape through the air? It's no use, ha ha ha. At this moment. Boom, boom, boom. Those ghost warriors suddenly changed, immediately turning into a giant cage as if they were an Ahut. Powerful array power crushed the ice and fire inside. Rumble. Anger spewed out, burning the ghosts. It was completely useless. These ghosts weren't harmed at all. They were invincible. They were immune to any kind of attack, and their attacks were exceptionally valiant. If it wasn't for the fact that he dodged the fire and ice, he would have been seriously injured. With every attack, the 3,000 over ghost soldiers gathered their strength and directly slashed down. His strength was incomparably powerful. The ice and fire fell back to the ground. Long Fei looked at the sky and thought, even flying is not okay. Ice and fire, how much distance is there between us? The ice-fire dragon's eyes narrowed. After calculating for a moment, it said, 500 meters. All right. Xiaobai, Binghua, return to my war pet space. Long Fei's voice sunk. Xiaobai and Binghua didn't understand. Master, what do you want to do? You alone are no match for this formation. Master, please let us stay. Long Fei said, your attacks are useless against these spirit bodies, they are immune to our attacks, but as long as we kill Nangong Wudi, this formation will break by itself. There must be some kind of power controlling these ghost warriors on Nangong Wudi. Just kill him and it will be over. However, the distance was too far. The combined attack skill Ice and Fire 9 Heavens could not be killed. He needed to push forward, rush to Nangong Wudi's side, only then would he be able to combine his attacks. Even if it could not kill Nangong Wudi, it could heavily injure him. If he was injured, the array formations would definitely be affected. Xiaobai asked, then why don't we follow you? We can at least block the attack for you. Yes. Brother Xiaobai is right, Master. Let us help you open up a path. If we can't kill them, we have thick skin, we can still resist. The attacks of these ghost warrior were extremely strong. Their physical body defense were much stronger than Long Fei's, so they could act like titans. However, in Long Fei's heart, Xiaobai and Binghua were his brothers. Even if he were to go and defend himself, he wouldn't let the two of them take all the damage for him. Then again, Long Fei was not afraid of these ghost warriors at all. Long Fei slightly smiled and said, you don't have to worry, if I can't take it, it won't be too late for you all to come out. These ghost warriors are completely useless to me. While they were talking, Long Fei's heart trembled, the idea moved, Sky Tyrant armor, out. Buzz. The divine armor of the Sky Tyrant Profound Realm appeared on Long Fei's body. It was pitch black with all kinds of ancient runes carved on it. It flickered with black light, emitted black flames, and looked extremely domineering. Overlord God Wing, out. Boom, boom. Two giant black wings appeared, just like those props in the game. They were incomparably gorgeous, pitch black, like the scales of a black dragon. Sky Tyrant boots. Come out. Boom, boom. Two black battle boots appeared under Long Fei's feet. Sky Tyrant sword, attack. Long Fei summoned out the Sky Tyrant sword. A 2-meter-long gigantic sword, its entire body was black, and its inscriptions covered the entire body of the sword. As the sword came out, the sword energy immediately swept out. It was also at this moment. Ding. Congratulations to the player Long Fei for coming into contact with Tyrant Skyset effect. You have gained 100% defense and 100% attack. A set of holy artifact. Nangong Wudi was immediately dumbfounded. Was this person even human? Even after all these years, the Nangong family did not have a single decent holy artifact. He got the set straight away. The Dragon Salya was a holy artifact. 2 divine beasts. Countless divine rank cultivation techniques. Why was there such a huge disparity between the two of them? The Nangong family had done this for so many years, yet they only managed to cause half of their Dragon Salya to die in front of the holy artifact, but this Long Fei fella. It was simply too deadly. Chapter 9. 8_841923556530. Competing with a person would sometimes truly compare to a dead person. Competing with a person would sometimes truly compare to a dead person. When you think you have a good holy artifact, other people's holy artifact have piled up like a mountain. From the moment the Dragon Salya appeared in the Long family's residence, the Nangong imperial clan wanted to obtain it. When they were happy that the Long family had lost their supreme artifact, who would have thought that Long Fei already had a divine level set? Nangong Wudi was so angry that he almost vomited blood. This was nothing. Just as the Sky Tyrant armor was all revealed, Long Fei's eyebrows twitched and he shouted, "Thunder Clock, get out." Boom. The thunder clock that exploded from Nangong Lai's body also appeared on Long Fei's body. The shadow of the thunder clock covered Long Fei, and the gigantic bell continuously released dense lightning defenses. It was so sharp that it was a complete mess. He carried the Dragon Salya on his shoulder and held the Sky Tyrant sword in his hand. He wore the Sky Tyrant set and had thunder clock revolving around his head. Each and every one of them were holy artifact. Each one was incomparably sharp. The sight was dazzling. He even had thoughts of dying. Not many martial artists would be able to get an Earth-grade spirit artifact in their lifetime, but Long Fei's entire body was filled with holy artifact. Did he still want to live? "Can't you play?" Nangong Wudi was so angry that his entire body was trembling. If not for his high cultivation, he would have vomited blood. Looking at the half of the Dragon Salya in his hand, Nangong Wudi felt as if he had been humiliated. Long Zhanhai immediately ordered, "Without my order, no one is allowed to even take half a step into this temple. Long Yun, you stand guard here. Whoever dares to approach this temple will be killed without question." Long Yun immediately replied, "Yes." And then Long Zhanhai quickly ran up. Because he felt a strong aura, and when he looked at the entrance of the temple, he was stupefied. He mumbled, "Father, is that Xiao Fei?" Long Sanfeng was so shocked that he nearly jumped up to cheer, and said excitedly, "It's Xiao Fei, it's Xiao Fei, ha ha ha. Good boy, you have truly shocked me." The number of holy artifact he had on him right now was not even as many as he had in the entire Fire Glass dynasty. He was definitely a rich person. "Don't worry about it now, ha ha ha." Long Sanfeng grew excited, looking at Long Fei who was inside the array with incomparable pride. He was proud of Long Fei. Long Fei took a step forward and laughed, "Aren't your inescapable snare tactical method powerful? Come, come, come. Let's see if we can break through your father's defense." "Arrogant. Incomparable arrogance," Long Fei said as if he was pulling a 250-year-old. With a move of the sword, he pointed at Nangong Wudi's nose and cursed, "Child Nangong, come come come, let your ghost warrior kill me. Damn you, come on." Too arrogant. Facing the number 1 ranker of the Fire Glass City, facing the inescapable snare-tight tactical method, Long Fei was unbridled. Nangong Wudi was so angry that smoke was coming out from his head, and he shouted angrily, "Kill him, kill him, kill him for me, immediately." With a change in inescapable snare-tight tactical method, all of them rushed towards Xiong Long Fei. Long Fei frowned, and thought to himself, "The distance is too far, I can't sense the true breath on Nangong Wudi's body. I need to take a few more steps forward." Kill. Kill. Countless ghost warriors rushed towards Xiong Long Fei. However, Long Fei ignored them and walked forward in large strides. The attacks of the Ghost Warrior S were like ice and fire, completely useless against them. Immunity. All our Thunder Clock could not defend against it, and the Sky Tyrant armor could easily defend itself. This was the power of a divine-level spiritual treasure. His defense was extremely high. These Ghost Warrior S were completely useless. Long Fei laughed arrogantly. Nangong punk, what kind of bullsh *T inescapable snare-tight tactical method, is it only this kind of power? It's not as powerful as my scratching. Even if I beg you, can you make them use a little more strength? At least give me an itch. Ha ha ha. Long Fei walked forward step by step, wanting to enrage Nangong Wudi. He wanted to feel the flow of the true breath on Nangong Wudi's body. He wanted to know whether or not Nangong Wudi was controlling these Ghost Warrior S again, and whether or not he was the eye of the formation. And then again. He wanted to shrink his distance to a point where it locked onto him, the distance at which the Ice and Fire Nine Heavens was release. Nangong Wudi was so angry that his entire body was trembling. Looking at Long Fei's wild laughter, he wanted to personally go and tear him apart. Too weak, too weak. A bit stronger. Child Nangong, is this the trump card of your Nangong Imperial clan? I think it's just a bunch of trash. Long Fei walked forward step by step. Although no Ghost Warrior had broken through his defense, this did not mean that he could quickly rush to Nangong Wudi's side as if he were walking down a main road. Furthermore, when those attacks landed on his body, although he didn't receive any damage, he could feel them with his own body. Master, another 100 meters. Ice and Fire continued to calculate the distance between them. Long Fei secretly thought, 100 meters right. He took a big step forward. There are still 99 meters left. Nangong Wudi, just wait for me to send you to the west. Over 3,000 Ghost Warrior S continued to attack. The power of the formation continued to rise, but it was completely useless. It did not harm Long Fei at all. Long Sanfeng and Long Zhanhai were both dumbfounded, so breaking the array can actually do something like this? Good boy. Ha ha ha. The two of them laughed with incomparable joy. Lunatic Long also laughed loudly. Old thief Nangong, isn't the inescapable snare tactical method awesome? Why did it become like this now? How could this be called breaking through a formation? This was called ignoring this formation. Nangong Wudi angrily clenched his teeth. His divine level set was unable to break through the defense of the heavens, but, instead of rushing towards Xiong Longfei with anger, he said with a cold laugh, Long Fei, even if your defense is peerless, you are still unable to break through this formation. You want to get close to me, want to fight with that dragon and shoot out beams of light to kill me? Ha ha ha. Nangong Wudi laughed wildly. Long Fei frowned. Has he been seen through? At this moment, Long Fei took a step forward, his heart stirred, and he shouted, Ice and Fire, prepare to attack. The Ice-Fire dragon's heart tightened as it said, Master, there is still half a meter left. One more step and you will be finished. Long Fei lifted his leg again. Also at this moment, the idea moved, sensing the true breath's fluctuations on Nangong Wudi's body. And in the instant that Long Fei lifted his leg, Nangong Wudi roared fiercely, charge out for him. As soon as he finished, the Ghost Warrior S suddenly gathered in a row as a strong wave of energy shot out horizontally and directly slashed at Long Fei's chest, without causing him the slightest bit of harm. However, yet, Long Fei actually put it back. 500 meters away. Long Fei once again returned to the starting point. What should he do? He wasn't a match at all. This week still had 3 days left. Hai Yang would still work hard to ensure that every day was updated with every 10 chapters. Hai Yang was desperately writing her code word. Brothers, if you have a monthly ticket, then I'll be extremely grateful to you. 8_841923565531. It was seen through. It was seen through. The distance was calculated. Long Fei didn't know. How could he be seen through when he had only released one fire and ice in Fireglass City? Not seeing through, but seeing through Nangong Wudi's cultivation. He could feel the change in the dangerous aura, and the moment Long Fei took a step forward, he felt it. This was a powerful expert. He could sense any change, even the slightest change in his aura. Nangong Wudi laughed proudly. How is it? Little bastard, it's better if you return to your original location. The inescapable snare-tight tactical method indeed can't do anything to you, but you can't break the array, much less get close to me. Any holy artifact will need the support of the true breath. I do not believe that the true breath in your body can allow you to live for 3 days or 3 nights. You are merely a trash at the early stage of the war, chief. Even consuming you consumes all of my energy. Ha ha ha. Indeed. Just as Nangong Wudi had said, he could not break this array. Not to mention 3 days and 3 nights, he couldn't even hold on for a single day. I don't believe it. Long Fei rushed out once again, thinking, ice and fire recalculate the distance. Binghua said, yes, master. Long Fei quickly rushed out, his teleportation coupled with the movement speed of the Sky Tyrant boots, he increased his speed to its limit, and he moved 100 meters in a single step. However, the stronger he was, the more powerful the inescapable snare tactical method art became. Master, 5 more meters. Not waiting for him to finish. Nangong Wudi sneered, go back. Boom. The formation changed and a powerful force once again pushed him back to his original spot. Another failure. F***CK. Again. Long Fei rushed over like crazy again. Nangong Wudi laughed complacently. Ha ha ha. No matter how many times you try, it's useless. Little bastard, even your ancestors, the draconic slaughter, were unable to break the formation, so it's even more impossible for you, ha ha ha. He wasn't worried at all. Because he did not need to worry, Long Fei was simply unable to approach him. Boom. Long Fei was knocked back once again. Once again, he returned to the original spot, sweating profusely. I really can't get close. Xiaobai said, Master, I will open up a path for you. Brother Xiaobai, just leave it to me, aren't they just some spiritual body warriors? I can't hurt them, I can't take their attacks. Binghua disdainfully said. It wasn't that they weren't strong, but that even if they could withstand these attacks, they would still be knocked back. The strength of the formation wasn't just any ordinary strength. Formations relied on the use of the formation's eye. If one could not break the formation, they would be unable to leave, just like the boundary. If one did not break through the formation, they would not be able to leave. Little bastard, come again. They're charging up again, why aren't they coming? Nangong Wudi said proudly. Nangong Wudi was very proud. He was exceptionally pleased with himself. Moreover, in the moment he laughed madly, his gaze turned sinister as he locked onto Long Sanfeng. Killing intent surged from his body as he said, You're not going to rush ahead, are you? Now it's my turn. Just now, you killed my son and my grandson. Now, I want you to watch your grandfather die before you. As soon as he finished, Nangong Wudi unleashed the power of the Peak War Master from his body, and with a thought, it directly landed at the entrance of the Tai Temple. He stared at Long Sanfeng and sneered, Lunatic Long, go and die. Boom. Both of his palms shook, and the power of Peak War Master roared out, directly striking towards Long Sanfeng. Too fast. Too fierce. Long Sanfeng's face turned sinister, he did not dodge at all, and went straight ahead. Dragon Break, 8 Dragon Fury. Roar. A draconic roar was released from his body, and his entire body was covered with draconic scales. The 4 palms collided, causing a violent blast of force to wreak havoc. Sounds of explosions could be heard. Sand and stones were flying everywhere, and the thick bluestone floor tiles around the 2 of them were continuously flying up, turning into dust. Long Zhanhai was simply incapable of getting close to it, and was directly sent flying by the force of the impact. Bam! Nangong Wudi took a few steps back. Long Sanfeng also retreated a few steps, spitting out a mouthful of blood. He bellowed, F***CK, come again. Swish. With a burst of strength, all of the clothes on Long Sanfeng's upper body were torn apart, and his entire upper body was covered in dense dragon scales, looking extremely ferocious. It was like turning into a dragon. However, in the Long family, this was only the first and lowest stage of dragon forming. There was still a long way to go before it could transform into a dragon. Nangong Wudi scoffed, Seems like you have used the blood of that huge dragon to raise your dragon blood activation. However, so what? You must die today. Long Sanfeng did not waste any time with him. With a move of her palms, she released all the power in her body. What are you talking about? Come if you dare. Without waiting for Nangong Wudi to attack, he rushed out. Just like how he had crushed Nangong Wudi. You know, his current cultivation was just too far off from Nangong Wudi's. However, he was Long Sanfeng, and even more so, he was Dragon Madman. Battle Maniac. He had never admitted defeat. Facing the continuous challenge from the three pillars, he did not even bat an eyelid. How could he be afraid of Nangong Wudi now? I'm afraid, you've lost. Lunatic Long's fists collided with his. Bam! Rumble. The earth shook and the mountains shook. Lunatic Long was sent flying and he spat out another mouthful of blood. However, he didn't stop and slapped the ground with his palm. F***ck, come again, whoosh. His body was like a raging dragon as it rolled out. He once again rushed towards Nangong Wudi. Nangong Wudi's body was also in turmoil. The true breath was wreaking havoc in a somewhat unbearable state. Long Sanfeng seemed to be at the second level of the War Master, but because of the Long family's blood lineage, his cultivation was even stronger than the fifth level of the War Master. However, this did not mean that he was an opponent for Nangong Wudi. Seeing Long Sanfeng rush towards him, Nangong Wudi's body sank as he shouted, "Lunatic Long, let's see how many more times you can go berserk." Crack. Nangong Wudi's palms released a ray of bloodlight. Long Zhanhai immediately shouted out, "Father, be careful." Long Fei also shouted loudly from within the formation, "Grandfather." The Dragon Madman did not care about all that. When the blood lineage's power was released, the shadow was like a dragon, going up with slay, 8 dragons rage. Roar! Roar! When he cultivated the dragon break to its perfect state, 8 dragon spirit shadows continuously flew out from his palm and pounced towards Nangong Wudi. Nangong Wudi also laughed coldly, "The sea of blood is boundless, die for me, whoosh whoosh whoosh." Asterisk as the blood mist dispersed, Nangong Wudi pushed with his palms, and the surging force of the sea of blood collided with each other. Floating life. Table of contents, no windows. A++ boom. The moment the 4 palms collided, the sky darkened and the earth darkened. It was as if the world was coming to an end. Chapter 1. Table of contents, thank you so much, cultivation fruit, love around the corner, Zhong Tian, Mr. Jiang, Yi Chen, grandpa squats in the streets and plays with little girls, football little Jiang, reading books all over the world, and even more, the sky demon is pitiful, Yi Chen. The bookworm enters the sea, Lin Chen, great master, purple-blooded berserk dragon, happiness like blooming flowers, summer ice, time, drug addict, asterisk, Mr. Horse, Xiao Guang, Long Fei, the fierce wind. Yang will definitely support you, my brothers, thank you for your strong support. 8_841923556532. Lunatic Long never knew fear. Lunatic Long never knew fear. He was a madman. Battling madman. Once a fight broke out, he would put his life on the line. However, his cultivation was after all, only at the second level of the War Master. Even if they had dragon bloodline blood lineage, they still wouldn't be able to make up for such a large gap. Nangong Wudi was forced to retreat and hit the wall again and again. He spat out a mouthful of blood, his face turning pale white. However, Long Sanfeng's injuries were worse as he fell from the sky and crashed onto the ground. He spat out a mouthful of black blood and laid on the ground, unable to get up for a moment. His internal organs were all churning, every inch of his muscles looked as if they were about to tear apart. The impact of the blood sea palm caused the blood vessels in his body to become abnormally unstable, and they almost burst out of his body, making him feel extremely uncomfortable. Damn it! Nangong Wudi cursed, he's really crazy, but today is the day you die. Nangong Wudi moved and rushed towards Long Sanfeng. This time, he definitely wouldn't let Lunatic Long off. The people of the Long family were all too scary. They were existences that did not care for their lives. Long Sanfeng crawled up from the ground with much difficulty, gritted his teeth and said savagely, again, still no fear. He was as arrogant as ever. This was the nature of the Long family. Nangong Wudi laughed disdainfully, lunatic Long, go to hell. With a move, he flew into the air and struck out with his palm towards the skull of the dragon madman. With this strike, Long Sanfeng was dead for sure. Father! Long Zhanhai roared thunderously as he flew out and used his body to block the attack. Bam! Long Zhanhai was smashed down, smashing onto the ground started to crack, and started to spew out blood. Uncle! Long Fei was incredibly anxious, and constantly rushing forward, but this formation was useless no matter how hard he tried. He was completely unable to break it. Nangong Wudi smashed his fist against Long Sanfeng's body, also sending him flying, and the two of them crashed together. Nangong Wudi was really too strong. His cultivation could completely suppress Long Sanfeng. It was difficult to make up for the difference in their cultivation levels. Nangong Wudi walked towards Long Sanfeng step by step, stared at him and coldly laughed. Do you want to save your grandfather? Kneel down and beg me. Ha ha ha. You made me feel the pain of losing my son, the pain of losing my grandson, and now I want you to personally see your grandfather, your uncle dying in front of you, and I will use the cruelest method possible to kill the two of them little by little. Long Fei, slowly enjoy yourself, ha ha ha. Nangong Wudi was extremely pleased with himself. Long Fei clenched his fists so hard that his joints popped out. Nangong Wudi, I'll fuck your ancestors. Nangong Wudi laughed. Are you angry? As he spoke, Nangong Wudi stepped onto Long Zhanhai's body, grabbed his head and pulled fiercely, pulling Long Zhanwu's head up to look at Long Fei, saying, Long Zhanhai, have you seen your nephew? Ha ha ha. Long Fei, is this great? Ha ha ha. He laughed maniacally. Long Fei's nails dug into the flesh of the trap as fresh blood dripped down. Although he tried to break through the trap with all his might, he was unable to do so. Long Sanfeng said solemnly, Xiao Fei, break the formation first. Finished. Long Sanfeng's body shot out, he fiercely rushed forward, once again releasing all of his power, attacking Nangong Wudi. You overestimate yourself. Nangong Wudi laughed disdainfully, lunatic Long, you're too weak. Get down. His right hand moved, and without waiting for Long Sanfeng's attack to fall, he smashed his fist down, boom. Long Sanfeng was slammed into the ground heavily. Fresh blood wildly sprayed as Long Sanfeng shouted once again, Xiao Fei, you have to believe in yourself. You have broken the dragon-locked tactical method, and you can also break it. Ah! Long Sanfeng rushed forward again. Long Zhanhai also released his full strength. Break the formation. Break the formation. What should I do to break the array? Seeing his grandfather and uncle continuously being crushed by Nangong Wudi, it was truly hard for Long Fei to calm down. From the very beginning, he had been constantly breaking through array formations. He wanted to use his invincible defense to break through, but it was completely impossible. Before you break the formation, you must first find the formation aperture. Long Fei's mind started spinning frantically. Where is the formation aperture? Where is the formation core? It's Nangong Wudi. No, not him. This was the first time Long Fei touched the true breath on Nangong Wudi's body. The true breath on his body was completely unrelated to the inescapable snare tactical method. Thus, Nangong Wudi was not the eye of the array, he was the person who activated the array. Where was the formation core? Where is it? An array must have an eye. As long as they found it and destroyed it, they would be able to destroy the array eye. The dragon-locked tactical method's eye was for the enemy, but what about the inescapable snare-tight tactical method's eye? Long Fei suddenly sat cross-legged. His mind spun, his chi spreading continuously, linking these ghost warriors together. He was looking for the formation aperture. Seeing Long Fei like this, Nangong Wudi laughed coldly, and said, Long Fei, what are you doing with your eyes closed? You can't bear to see your grandfather, and your uncle is going to die. Ha ha ha. You little bastard, you don't want to see it, do you? The more I want you to see, the more I want you to see. Nangong Wudi suddenly moved, summoning out the half of the dragon Salia. With a cold laugh, he said, Supreme Dragon of the Long family, Patriarch died on the supreme artifactess of the Long family. This must be very interesting. Ha ha ha. Little bastard, don't you want to take a look? Finished. Nangong Wudi placed the dragon's salya on top of Long Zhanhai's neck, and said while grinning, "Little bastard, open your eyes. This is the last time you see Long Zhanhai. It's your grandfather's turn right now, so it's you who's last, ha ha ha." The moment he made his move, Long Fei opened his eyes. Nangong Wudi immediately laughed out loud, and said, "That's right. Open your eyes and look, what a wonderful thing." Long Fei stood up. Xiaobai, Icefire. Boom. Boom. Two divine beasts came out of war pet space. The might of a divine beast was incomparable, and its two angry eyes made people feel a chill in their hearts. The two of them were also extremely furious, and wished that they could tear Nangong Wudi into shreds. Screech. These two god beasts. I'm so scared. Nangong Wudi said excitedly, his tone changed as he bellowed, "Little bastard, come out and let your divine beast bite me, ha ha ha." Laughter. He laughed maniacally. Incomparable arrogance. Also at this time, Long Fei's gaze turned sinister as he stared coldly at Nangong Wudi and said, "Nangong Wudi, open your dog eyes wide and look carefully." Me. Long Fei. You want to screw over your Nangong family's ancestral grave. In the second chapter, I recommend a book called Desolate God's Seat. The author listens and welcomes all support. 8_841923565533. As soon as he finished, Xiao Bai and the Icefire dragon suddenly shook. Rumble, rumble, rumble. Divine beasts were infuriated. They were unstoppable, and the entire square of the great temple was shaking as the ground cracked. All the ghost warrior began to tremble. Nangong Wudi frowned, then suddenly rushed forward a few steps. "Little bastard, what are you trying to do?" Beneath the grand temple was the memorial tablet of the ancestors of the Nangong imperial clan. Furthermore, the anger in his heart reached its peak at this moment, as he insulted the Tai temple, causing his ancestors to be unable to calm down, which was even more infuriating than killing Nagong Ao just now. Long Fei sneered, "What are you doing? To F***k up your ancestors' graves." Xiao Bai, Icefire. "Yes sir." The two divine beasts once more trembled violently. Rumble. Rumble. The earth began to shake crazily, and the ground started to crack, causing the entire temple to shake. Nangong Wudi looked as though he was going crazy. He gnashed his teeth so hard that they were about to shatter. His eyes turned bloodshot as he roared in anger, "Little bastard, you dare." Anger was burning. The aura on Nangong Wudi's body surged continuously, and the shattered stones beneath his feet started to roll. Long Fei grinned and said, "Nangong Wudi, did you enjoy it? Ha ha ha. Shock him to death. I'm going to tear his ancestral grave apart." Long Fei laughed excitedly. The ground continued to crack. Suddenly, with a boom, the great temple collapsed, turning into a pile of rubble. The rankings within the great temple were also shattered. Nangong Wudi was about to go crazy from anger. His eyes were about to spit fire. "Ah! Ah! Ah! Long Fei, you little bastard, I will kill you, I will kill you." He was utterly enraged. He roared loudly, "Kill him." The ghost warrior continued to tremble as the power of the formation began to stir. Those ghost warrior were also not under his command. The space between Nangong Wudi's brows tightened again as he thought in his heart, "Impossible, impossible, absolutely impossible." Long Fei's right arm condensed for 3 minutes. Looking at Nangong Wudi's angered expression, he sneered, "The inescapable snare-tight tactical methods formation eye is right below us. If I'm not wrong, this should be the Nangong Imperial Clan's Dragon Fountain." As soon as he finished, Long Fei's right fist shook as he punched the ground. "Magic power of right hand, open for me." Nangong Wudi roared, "Don't." Rumble. Rumble. Long Fei's fist shook and shattered, the ground caved in. Following that, bluestone tiles fell down, and the ghost warrior were also trembling crazily, as though they couldn't hold on much longer. "No, no, no," Nangong Wudi said as his eyes glazed over. Looking at the square of the great temple which had sunk down, he roared continuously, "No, impossible, no one knows where the eye of the inescapable snare-tight tactical methods formation is. No one knows, it's impossible for you to know about this." Even himself. He also didn't know where the core of the formation was. The ancestor of the Nangong imperial clan used the evil methods of the blood refinement sect to separate these souls and then set them up in the square of the supreme temple. Other than the emperor, no one from the Nangong family knew. Because he knew that the less people who knew about the array core, the better. If he died, no one would ever know. As long as the Nangong imperial clan knew where the mechanism to activate the array core was, no one would be able to keep the array core secret. Just like the Long family's dragon-locked tactical method. Other than the person who created the formation, no one else knew where the core was. Long Fei was the same. The sky was not good enough for him to charge out, and the Grand Temple was not the eye of the spell formation. There was only one possibility. At the bottom of this square. After Xiao Bai and the fire and ice were shaken, the Ghost Warrior trembled. Their chaotic flow of energy also proved that his conjecture was correct. Long Fei punched out. The Taimian Plaza caved in. Those Ghost Warrior did not disappear immediately. Long Fei took a step forward and charged into the secret room. A gigantic dragon was carved in gold and occupied the entire room. A gigantic dragon was staring at Long Fei with its vivid and lifelike eyes. There were 2 tablets on the dragon's head. One of them was the ancestor of the Nangong imperial clan, Nangong Haotian. The other was engraved on the tablet, Nangong Yarohai. Formation aperture. A dragon's vein is the core of a formation, and a dragon's head is the core of a formation. Nangong Yarohai, you are truly smart. Long Fei slowly walked forward and stared at the 2 tablets. The tablet, dragon suppressing orb. Did this mean he was suppressing the Long family? You all were afraid of the Long family from the beginning. Nangong Haotian, you never thought of this. If it weren't for the bullying of the Long family by you all these years, your Nangong imperial clan would still be able to enjoy prosperity for the next 10,000 years. But now, Weng. Long Fei took out the dragon Salia. Nangong Yaohai's memorial tablet was instantly knocked over. It was also at this moment. Long Fei clenched both his hands, causing the bloodlight on the dragon Salia to churn. The great desolate mountain demon king and the divine tiger roared, and with a move, he slashed down, die. Nangong Wudi rushed to the entrance of the cave and shouted, "Little bastard, you dare!" Not waiting for him to finish. The dragon Salia in Long Fei's hand had already slashed down. The blade landed on the dragon head. Rumble. 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 The dragon head fell down and even crushed Nangong Haotian and Nangong Yaohai's tablets. With a single slash, the inescapable snare-tight tactical method was destroyed. The entire fire glass city was trembling violently. At this moment, Emperor Star in the night sky had fallen. At the same time, a shooting star fell, and a new Emperor Star was born. At this moment, ding! Congratulations to player Long Fei for slaying Heaven's Net Ghost Killing Formation. You have obtained experience points, true breath point, credit point. Congratulations to player Long Fei for obtaining the 3800 Ghost Warrior of the Heaven's Net Ghost Absolute Killing Formation. Do you want to release them? Ding! Congratulations to player Long Fei for consecutively leveling up to level 8, currently at level 8 yellow rank. The inescapable snare tactical method was a boss. It shone with a golden light from the very beginning. Long Fei was puzzled. Why was there a boss level in the array? From the looks of it, the formation exploded. Moreover, they were the 3800 Ghost Warrior in the Imperial Nets array. They were simply invincible existences. Even Xiao Bai's and the giant dragon's attacks were useless. However, the system had even prompted him whether he was released. This. Long Fei's heart tightened, but he did not immediately reply. Let us go. I beg of you, please let us go. Our souls have been suffering for thousands of years. Please, please let us go. We were wrong about your ancestors in the Long family. We repented, and we will never do it again. Table of contents, I'm begging you, Let us into the underworld. He kept begging. Release, or not release. Chapter 3. 8_841923556534. Clearly, these souls had been suppressed for thousands of years. Clearly, these souls had been suppressed for thousands of years. Each and every one of them had accumulated resentment in their hearts, resentment toward the Nangong imperial clan. They yearned for reincarnation. He desired to take off his body and merge his soul into the underworld. None of this had anything to do with Long Fei. Release, or not release. This was indeed a problem. If it could not be released, the system would definitely not prompt him to release it. What would happen after it? What would he get? Or could it be nothing? This was a gamble. Long Fei could not control it well. After all, there were 3,800 Ghost Warrior-s here, and it was even inescapable snare-tight tactical method. Once they were controlled to level up by killing demon beasts in the mountains, wouldn't that be as fast as a skyrocketing rocket? Honestly, when Long Fei revealed the Ghost Warrior, his heart began to boil, and from the start, he had never thought of releasing it. These were all upgrade machines, so releasing them would be a huge loss. However, the system prompt had him at a loss. Huff. Long Fei took in a deep breath, unable to make a choice. It was also at this time. Rumble. 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 In the air, Nangong Wudi roared, "Little bastard, come out and accept your death." F***CK. Long Fei's heart trembled, and he said, "I almost forgot about this boss." Ice and fire. The Ice-Fire Dragon was enraged. Understood. With a leap, the Ice-Fire Dragon's wings flapped, and it immediately charged out of the ruins, flying into the air. There was a series of explosive sounds from its throat. Dragon's flames sprayed out. The center of Nangong Wudi's brows shook, and an aura of the peak of the War Master was released from his body. It was also at this time. Xiaobai roared, "Roar!" The illusory image of the wolf god dispersed into the sky, as a heavenly wolf descended from the skies and pounced towards Nangong Wudi. Serious domination. Nangong Wudi was almost unable to endure it. Faced with the attacks of two mighty divine beasts, he was knocked flying backwards. Nangong Wudi's face was a mess, and he was sent flying. His robes made an explosive noise, as he was forced to the point of extreme discomfort. Adding the anger in his heart, he summoned his dragon Salia and coldly said, "You must be a divine beast, right? Kill." When the gigantic War Master was added onto the dragon Salia, in that instant, the aura on the dragon Salia changed instantly as Nangong Wudi fiercely slashed at it. Kill. Boom. The dragon Salia cried out in mid-air, dense blade aura burst out, one blade cut off the head of the Sky Wolf, the image of the Sky Wolf immediately disappeared. It was incomparably powerful. The dragon Salia continued to emit a brutal aura. Dragon Salia-s were ferocious soldiers, they were main killers. To it, killing was its fate. It was very clear that Nangong Wudi had a better understanding of Dragon Salia than Long Fei, and in his entire life, he had spent almost 100 years researching Dragon Salia. He knew how to unleash the power of a Dragon Salia. At the same time, he also knew how the Long family's ancestor used the Dragon Salia. The might of the supreme artifact was unparalleled. Long Fei was shocked. What a strong blade aura. He was unable to unleash such a strong saber chi. Nangong Wudi laughed sinisterly, and said, "This is the true power of slaying a dragon. Long Fei, you little bastard, who do you think you are? In your hands, Dragon Salia is a waste. You are simply unable to unleash even 1,000th of its power. In the past, your ancestor used it to kill the dragon god. How domineering was it? How intrepid was it to be able to kill the dragon god? Its power is incomparable. But what about you? How much power can you release? Ha ha ha. Tremble under my dragon Salia." Nangong Wudi destroyed the sword in one slash from the flames of ice and fire. The power of the dragon Salia in his hands was indeed shockingly terrifying. Long Fei couldn't do it. He had obtained the dragon Salia less than a year ago, so his understanding of it wasn't enough. Moreover, the stronger you are, the stronger the dragon Salia will be. The more fearless you are, the more ferocious the dragon Salia become. It was, kill, the supreme artifact, kill, enough distance. The Icefire dragon suddenly warned and said, Master, ding, target locked. Long Fei's forehead turned sinister, and he shouted, release the combined attack. With their souls linked, the idea became one. Thick clouds appeared in the sky, the clouds continuously rotated, 9-story heaven appeared. The first floor suddenly shook, and a laser light was released. Ice and fire 9 heavens, kill, as long as one touched it, it could be killed instantly. Shua. The might of the ice and fire 9 heavens was like the descent of a heavenly power, striking towards the center of Nangong Wudi's brows. Nangong Wudi raised his eyes, his expression extremely sinister. The dragon Salia cut his palm, and all the blood that flowed out was absorbed by the dragon Salia. It was also at this time. The dragon Salia's entire body flashed with a bloody light, and became extremely fierce. Facing the first level of the rankings, he stepped forward and grinned excitedly, explode. Let the lowly descendants of the Long family see your strength. Ha ha ha. You are invincible. Rumble. The light beam shot down and struck the dragon Salia's body. The bloodlight on the dragon Salia's body became stronger and stronger. The combined attack simply could not penetrate it. Nangong Wudi was also trembling intensely. His entire body was unable to withstand it. His body smashed into the ground from mid-air. He was in an extremely sorry state. However, Long Fei's heart sank, not even a little bit of blood has been lost. The combined attack of the ice and fire 9 heavens did not cause him the slightest bit of damage. Long Fei was incomparably shocked, and what was shocked was not just how powerful Nangong Wudi was. He was shocked by the other half of the dragon Salia. It could actually resist the power that could instantly kill anything under the War Emperor. It was really too strong. The clouds slowly dissipated. The power of the beam was also weakened. Nangong Wudi's bent waist slowly stood up, and started laughing maniacally with a dark and heavy tone. Can't kill me, ha ha ha. Little bastard, you're too weak. This is your strongest move, right? Ha ha ha. If a half of a dragon Salia can possess such power, then the dragon Salia in your hands. It's also mine, ha ha ha. Nangong Wudi was crazy. His expression was savage beyond compare. His eyes were bloodshot, as if he had been possessed. The dragon Salia in his hands trembled even more violently. His heart was about to be controlled by the other half of the dragon Salia. Long Fei laughed coldly, and said, Nangong Wudi, do you think that I have no way of dealing with you? Nangong Wudi pointed his dragon Salia at Long Fei and said disdainfully, the trash of the War Chief Realm, the trash of the giant dragons, the trash of the White Wolf, so what if you have these holy artifacts? You don't even know how to release their powers. Only I am able to activate all of their powers. Chapter 48_841923565535. You have no cards left. You have no cards left. What qualifications do you have to fight me? You, your uncle, your grandfather, all the Long army outside the Great Temple will all die. Ah! Nangong Wudi roared, his 2 eyes turning blood-red. He was completely bewitched, his mind also being occupied by the dragon Salia. Enchanted. Nangong Wudi's mind was being controlled by half of the dragon Salia, he had complete control of it. The killing intent of the dragon Salia exploded. Vicious weapon. Even the upper half of the dragon Salia in Long Fei's hands was trembling. Nangong Wudi took a step forward. The bloody glow on his body soared into the sky, bringing along a series of thick bloody demon mirages as he charged towards Xiong Long Fei. Long Fei, be careful. Xiao Fei. Long Zhanhai and Long Sanfeng gasped on the ground. Long Fei grinned coldly, and said, do you think I have no way of dealing with you? Nangong Wudi laughed in disdain, what else do you have? You have nothing left, just die. It was also at this time. The weakened ice and fire said solemnly, Master, I can still unleash another combined attack and blast him with a cannon. I don't believe that I can't blast him to death. The first release of the ice and fire 9 heavens was the limit of the current state of ice and fire. If he were to release it again, he would only overdraw his HP. This would definitely hinder his cultivation level in the future, and he might even be able to stay in the 5th stage forever. Xiao Bai's body suddenly changed, immediately becoming more than 2 meters tall. The divine beast's chi on his body became extremely fierce, and he shouted, "This daddy is really not happy. I want to kill him." Long Fei pulled Xiao Bai back, and said, "All of you, return to my war pet space." Xiao Bai still had not used his ultimate move. However, this powerful skill also consumed his profound chi. Just like how Long Sanfeng had forcefully released his War Master chi, the consumption of his profound chi would cause his body to be severely injured, and his cultivation would forever stay at that level. Long Fei didn't want to see them like this. Moreover, they're just cubs. Xiao Bai was still only at the 3rd level, Ice and Fire 5th level, simply too low. If he were to grow to the maximum level, a mere peak War Master could be killed in an instant with a single breath. Their future was limitless, they could not afford to let them go to waste at a time like this. "Master, we can still carry them." The 2 divine beasts were not happy with Nangong Wudi. Long Fei did not allow them to resist, and shouted, "Go back. Do you want me to do it myself?" Without waiting for their response, Long Fei moved and immediately controlled their idea, summoning them back to the war pet space. Long Fei's idea moved, and said to the ghost warrior who were still wailing non-stop, "Didn't you want me to let you guys go? Aren't you people from the Nangong Imperial clan? Now, kill him. I will let you leave this place." As soon as his voice faded, all of the ghost warriors rushed out, and the gigantic inescapable snare-tight tactical method was instantly set up. It was also at this time that a wave of energy dragged Long Fei out. Boom boom, boom, boom. The inescapable snare-tight tactical method was activated, confining Nangong Wudi in an array. Nangong Wudi was instantly stopped. Looking at the surrounding ghost warrior, he fiercely shouted, "You damned vengeful spirits, do you want to rebel? You are just the Nangong family's slaves. Get lost." Long Fei shouted from afar, "Kill, kill, kill." 3,800 ghost warriors started to move, unleashing a crazy pressure on Nangong Wudi, crazily killing him. Nangong Wudi was simply unable to resist. At this time, his dragon Salya also lost its effect. This was because these ghost warrior were all spirit bodies and could not be killed. All attacks were immune. Even a dragon Salya that had been possessed wouldn't have any use. Long Fei quickly ran to his grandfather's side, gave them a few seconds of healing pills, and asked, "Grandfather, are you guys okay?" Lunatic Long stood up slightly, looked at Nangong Wudi who was inside the array, and said, "Xiao Fei, why did these ghosts stop you from ordering them?" Long Zhanhai also said, "These people were once guards of the Nangong family, they only listened to the orders of the Nangong family. Why would they stop you now?" Long Fei said, "Just now when I broke through the array, these ghosts all listened to me." Ha ha ha. Long Sanfeng immediately laughed out loud, looking at Nangong Wudi who was hiding in the east and west. "Old thief Nangong, why are you being so arrogant again? Isn't it great to die in the midst of a formation set up by one's own ancestors?" Ha ha ha. Long Zhanhai also laughed out loud, and said, "Nangong Wudi, do you feel good now?" Awkward. It was extremely embarrassing. Even if he was Nangong Wudi, even if he was the War Master, he still had no power to resist the inescapable snare-tight tactical method. Furthermore, this was a formation set up by the Ghost Warrior, so there was no way to resist it. He had initially watched Long Fei struggle through the array, but now it was his turn. The array core was an underground dragon vein, but where was the array core now? I don't know. Nangong Wudi's entire body was riddled with scars, and bright red numbers continuously floated up above his head. He had to say it. The inescapable snare tactical method formed from these Ghost Warriors are just too strong. They were completely unrivaled existences, and adding on their anger towards the Nangong Imperial family, they were even more furious. Every single Ghost Warrior used their full strength. Of course. As long as they knew a technique to attack with a spirit body, these Ghost Warrior would be killed as if they were vegetables. Long Fei was a little regretful now. Really letting them go? He was truly conflicted. Half an hour passed. The amount of blood on top of Nangong Wudi's head dropped by around the 100,000 points s. The 3 million HP is about to be depleted. Long Fei's gaze tightened as he summoned Xiao Bai and said, "Take grandfather and uncle out. Grandpa, uncle, you two leave first." Long Fei was still a little worried. After all, he was a peak war master ranker, the strongest in the Fire Glass dynasty. Even the last drop of blood could not be left unnoticed. Long Sanfeng glanced at Long Fei and said, "Xiao Fei, be careful." Long Zhanhai wanted to stay, but he was glared at by Long Sanfeng. Long Sanfeng knew clearly in his heart that Long Fei did not want them to take the risk. Long Fei also had his own secrets. There must be a secret. It was a secret that only belonged to Long Fei. Long Fei moved and said to Xiao Bai, "Bring grandfather and uncle back to the Long family." Xiao Bai said heavily, "Master, you must be careful." After watching them leave, Long Fei moved and said, "All of you retreat, now it's my turn." 3,800 Ghost Warrior quickly retreated to the side, prepared to fight at any time. Long Fei slowly walked up, and looking at the extremely miserable Nangong Wudi, he smiled. "Nangong Wudi, is it good?" Equals half carrot float # life carrot. Nangong Wudi was bleeding profusely. He stared at Long Fei and bellowed, "Little bastard, I will kill you." Shua. With a sudden movement, he rushed towards Xiong Long Fei. Long Fei clenched his right hand, and the dragon Salia fell into his hand. The corners of his mouth slightly curled up as he coldly laughed. "Come." Chapter 5. 8_841923565536. Buzz. Buzz. A hum came from the dragon Salia. Boom. The blood-red blade exploded. The auras of the wild mountain devil and the divine tiger blood lineage burst out. Long Fei's eyes sunk, the idea melded into the dragon Salia. Following that, his body also flashed with the bloodlight and blade aura of the dragon Salia. One with the saber. Long Fei moved, and said to the dragon Salia in his heart, "I know you can hear me, and I also know that you want to find your other half. Now, I'll give myself to you. Power, speed, technique, whatever you want, I'll give you whatever you want, but I want you to kill him in one slash." Finished. Long Fei gave up control of himself. At this moment, the 80,000 true breath values in his body instantly disappeared. At the same time, Long Fei shouted in his heart, "Wushuang." Boom. Boom. After a few explosions, his energy attribute was doubled and his true breath was ignited. The dragon Salia moved. As the bloodlight receded, Long Fei's figure flashed like lightning, directly slashing through the skies, and he gave a low snort. One blade flowed, dragon slash. Roar. The raging dragon on the dragon Salia's back rose up into the sky. A real dragon was not a wyvern like the ice and fire dragon, but a divine dragon from ancient China. And then, descending from the sky, crack, the dragon Salia fell and the dragon god entered his body. Long Fei's body also instantly passed through Nangong Wudi's body. Without touching a drop of blood, he quietly stood there. At that moment Long Fei could feel the power of the dragon Salia. The dragon Salia was made from dragon blood. Its true strength was not Dao Feng, nor was it the power to slay dragons, but the power of the dragon god. Long Fei stood there quietly, and said indifferently, "The dragon Salia's power does not depend on your own strength to stimulate it, but on its own strength. It is the ruler of all these, and by letting itself be the strongest, Nangong Wudi, you are too weak." Poochie. Nangong Wudi spat out a mouthful of blood, and a scarlet number floated up the top of his head. 999 critical hit damage with 999 HP. This was the power of the dragon god. The true might of the dragon god. It was truly the power of a dragon Salia. Nangong Wudi slowly turned around to look at Long Fei. His eyes were filled with fear as his ice-cold aura gradually filled his entire body. "No, no, impossible. I. Long Fei, you will also die soon, just you wait. You, the blood refinement sect won't, I won't let you go, I will definitely not." Boom. His body exploded into a cloud of bloody mist that rained down. It filled the entire Taimian Plaza. It was also at this time that the ghost warrior started to cheer. The resentment in their hearts had finally exploded out, and one by one, they walked to Long Fei's side and knelt down, kowtowing and saying, "Thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you so much. We are free." At this moment, Long Fei closed his eyes and listened quietly. Ding. Congratulations to player Long Fei for killing Nangong Wudi for obtaining 10 experience points, true breath point, and energy values point. Congratulations to player Long Fei for obtaining Dragon Salia. Congratulations to player Long Fei for obtaining Flaming Yellow Chi. Do you wish to refine it? Ding. Congratulations to player Long Fei for leveling up. The level War Chief level in front of you is War Chief level 2. Ding. Congratulations to player Long Fei for gathering Dragon Salia S. You have obtained 100 experience points, 100 true breath and 100 points as your reward. The system sounded out continuously. We're back, we're finally back, Dragon Salia. Long Fei quietly looked at the other half of the space ring, feeling the dense evil aura from his body. No matter what. Now that it was back, all he needed to do was to repair it. As long as it was repaired, the Dragon Salia's mission would be completed. However, it was a pity that he did not have the striking energy value. Otherwise, the boss Nangong Wudi would definitely have more and better items. The striking attribute. At the same time, Long Fei took a look at the items that dropped. Item: Flaming Yellow Chi Grade. Function. Description: the scorching yellow energy of the world. A strand of essence energy from the primal chaos ancient era. Description 2. The ancestor of the Nangong Imperial clan, Nangong Haotian, obtained this in a mystic realm. The Nangong Imperial clan was unable to refine this pill for 10,000 years. Ding. Release and refine? Long Fei didn't quite understand, as he read through it once more carefully. He muttered to himself, is grade and utility a question mark? What the hell is this? Is it something that even the system can't recognize? What if it is swallowed? What if it's poison gas? 10,000 my ass. Who would I be afraid of? If I don't die, I will die for tens of thousands of years. Long Fei hardened his heart, and resolutely ordered, refine. In this lifetime, I'm afraid you will lose your entire life. There had never been a way out for martial arts training. If he didn't even have this much courage, then what the heck was he? The system sounded out. Ding. Congratulations to player Long Fei for successfully refining the Flaming Yellow Chi. Holy *T. The Nangong Imperial clan can't even refine it for tens of thousands of years, and I succeeded in less than a second. I must have reached the acme of perfection in my inherent skill, right? Long Fei muttered in his heart. From the moment he first saw the Flaming Yellow Chi, he had felt that it was an incomparable force that brought with it a magical force that attracted him. Thus, only then would he disregard the danger to refine it. Actually, he wasn't confident either. What was it? Boom. Rumble. 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 A loud sound echoed out. A series of rumbling sounds came from Long Fei's pubes, followed by a continuous increase in its size. The originally tattered pubes seemed to want to tear it apart. Incomparable pain. F***CK. It's really poison. Long Fei could not help but curse in his heart as he thought to himself, I really want my life. Ignoring everything else, Long Fei swallowed a few antidote pills first. The medicinal pill entered his body. It was like a clay ox entering the sea, with no reaction at all. Long Fei took out a handful of highest-grade medicine powder and threw it into his mouth and swallowed it. It was still useless, and his true breath was rapidly decreasing. Just a moment ago, after leveling up, his true breath had already reached a total of 230,000 points when he killed Nangong Wudi. In less than 10 seconds, he only had about 10,000 points left in his true breath slot, and it was still decreasing. Too fast. It was as if over 100 god-level skills had been released at the same time, disappearing in an instant. The most crucial point. Why didn't he get it? Long Fei didn't know at all. There was no true breath. Long Fei took out the dragon spirit pellets, and ignored the time spent on it. He placed the 100 into his mouth, and the true breath of these dragon spirit pills reached the second 100,000 points. However, it was still useless. Boom. 36O search. Half floating / / equals boom, boom. The pubes S were still buzzing. Ding. Chapter 6. 8_841923565537. A notification sound suddenly rang out. A notification sound suddenly rang out. Long Fei prayed in his heart, "Brother, it must be good news. Please don't say that the value of some true breath is not enough." In an instant, the true breaths that neared the 100,000 points were all devoured. What the heck is this? Was there anything worse than this? Long Fei was extremely regretful now. He should not have been tempted, and should not have refined the flaming yellow qi. How could he have imagined that the Nangong imperial clan would not even be able to refine the flaming yellow qi successfully for tens of thousands of years? It felt like the system had dug a hole for him to jump into. This was too darned. Ding. The thunder clock has been decomposed and swallowed. System, you mother **, engulfing your sister, is it easy for me to drop a holy artifact? Not only did he devour my true breath, he even devoured my holy artifact. Long Fei started to curse. But before he could finish cursing, ding. The Sky Tyrant armor has been broken down and swallowed. System, don't you have a son? If you swallow more, just King devour it for a second time, Lousy will really fight it out with you. Long Fei shouted. It was as if he had gone mad. The surrounding ghost warrior were all at a loss as they thought, is this bastard sick? Ding. The Overlord God Wing has been dissolved and swallowed. *CKU, you have balls. Long Fei was about to cry, and said, brother, I'm begging you, don't be like this, really don't be like this. I only have these few good things, you've already swallowed them, how am I going to mix with you in the future? I'm begging you. Ding. The Tyrant Sky Battle Boots have been broken down and swallowed. Another holy artifact on Long Fei's body disappeared. He was in a bad mood. Damn you, system, if you have the guts come out, come out. I want to fight to the death with you. I won't rest until you're dead. Long Fei was going crazy. The 4 holy artifacts were gone. Can't we just *King play? Can we still be friends? There were no more 4 pieces of equipment for acting cool. How could he go out and pick up girls in the future? Ding. The Tyrant Heaven's divine sword has been disintegrated and is being devoured. Gone. Everything's gone. The Sky Tyrant set is gone. It hasn't even been a day. Long Fei sat on the ground, his eyes unfocused, his entire being was in a bad mood, lifeless. He muttered to himself, *CK your grandpa, damn you, system, you will die a horrible death, you will die a horrible death. He could only curse. He couldn't resist at all. Long Fei didn't even know how to resist. Not waiting for him to finish. Ding. The Yellow Springs divine sword has been broken down, engulfed. Brother, can you leave me a sword? I've never used this netherworld sword before, your sister. Long Fei was already powerless, she was just like a girl who had been forced to act countless times. Moreover, at this moment, the dragon Salia began to tremble. It was afraid. He was truly afraid. Never before had Long Fei felt that the dragon Salia was this afraid. He is a supreme artifact. Even the dragon god could be killed, and even the dragon god's power was within the seal. He was actually afraid right now, and began to tremble in fear. What was it? What exactly was the burning yellow qi? Suddenly, Long Fei's mind tensed up, the idea sunk, his 2 hands tightly held onto the dragon Salia as he roared out, I don't care who you are, swallowing this daddy's true breath, thunder clock, tyrant profound set, that's fine, but if you dare to swallow my dragon Salia, I'll really fight with you for my life. The dragon Salia was still trembling, the threat was still there. Long Fei was going crazy. *CK. Long Fei clenched his teeth until it made a cracking sound, and said, I'm going all out. Suddenly, Long Fei directly placed the dragon Salia at the neck where the artery was located and said, if you want to swallow it, then devour it, If you have the guts, then let this daddy see. If you don't believe me, I'll let you see my death. If I die, you won't be able to live either, right? If you have the guts, then try it. Everything else was fine, but the dragon Salya did not believe it. What is a dragon Salya? It was a treasure left behind by the Long family's ancestor, a belief in the Long family. If he was engulfed, it would be impossible for Long Fei to become a descendant of the Long family. It was unknown whether Long Fei's threat had worked or if it was a bit pitiful seeing him being forced to death, but the dragon Salya returned to normal. And then, the thunder dragon rod began to tremble. That won't do. Long Fei pressed the dragon Salya even closer and said, this won't do, and we can't swallow it either. Thunder Dragon Rods were related to the Thunder Dragon Temple's secret plane. The Thunder Dragon Rod was the mission item. Long Fei guessed that it might be the key to opening the Thunder Dragon Temple. The most crucial point. Thunder Dragon Rods were semi-artifact S, and had the lightning 10,000 area-off effect skill. This was a good thing, it could not be swallowed anymore. In the end, the Thunder Dragon Rod was saved. However, the remaining pellets in Long Fei's space ring were all swept away. The items that were previously dropped were also all swept away. Some King Kong shield, some Earth Dragon battle armor, some ancient blades, all of them were devoured. If not for the fact that he couldn't absorb all of the skills and cultivation techniques, they would all be devoured as well. Now, other than the Dragon Salya, the two weapons of the Thunder Dragon Rod, Long Fei had nothing else. She was completely naked, just like a newbie in a novice village. The rookies still had a piece of white cloth, but he didn't have anything. Long Fei thought about refining the scorching yellow qi, then he turned around and sang. Who would have thought that it would actually take him one night to return to before liberation? Too bitter. I really want to cry. He felt as if he had been forcefully molested by a bunch of women, and they didn't even give him any money, but wanted his money instead. Was there anything more bitter than this? These things were all devoured. The space ring was empty, and it was no longer in pain. Suddenly, it heard a burp, without waiting for Long Fei to speak. Those two war pet were not bad, they were both divine level war pet, but their levels were too low now. When one of them has a braised meat and one has a steamed one, beating one's teeth up should be considered not bad. Roar. A woo. Roared. Furthermore, as the two of them swiftly entered into battle mode, they were incomparably stern, even more serious than when fighting against Nangong Wudi. What are you yelling for? Do you believe that I won't eat you two little things right now? The deep voice rang out again. Xiao Bai and Bing Hua immediately became impotent. He crawled to the ground, not daring to move. The might of a divine beast. He became a dead dog. What the hell was a divine beast? Long Fei looked down on them. Do the two of you still have any backbone left? Are you even divine beasts? This is truly embarrassing for a divine beast. Floating life, table of contents, no windows. A++ Xiao Bai muttered, Master, this old fellow. No. It's because the old man is too strong. We can't even compare to a single head on his body. Bing Hua also bitterly said, that's right, they are on completely different levels. He is the heavens, and we are the earth. An insect egg under the ground, it can't even be considered an insect. How do you think we should beat it? So strong. Long Fei's heart trembled, and he shouted, Old fellow, what are you called? Chapter 7. 8_841923565538. Xiao Bai was also a divine beast. Xiao Bai was also a divine beast. Not even one head. How strong was he? Was the ice and fire dragon a dragon, after all, or a dragon of both fire and ice? Was it just an insect egg in the mud when compared to him? Isn't this too exaggerated? If it was really as they had said, then this old fellow was incredible. Old man? Not at all. A deep sound rang out. Long Fei immediately shouted, Old fellow, who isn't shameless? You took so many treasures from me and so many medicinal pellets from me, yet you didn't even bother to ask me a question. You're F***king saying that I'm impudent, you're F***king big and you're little? F***ck. Speaking of which, he got even angrier. A year's time was all wasted. It was not easy to get a hold of a few holy artifacts. In this world where martial arts was revered, holy artifacts were able to blind people and were comparable to sharp weapons used to flirt with girls. Now that they were said to be gone, how could Long Fei not be angry? However, the old man said, "They are all trash." Long Fei. He was speechless. The holy artifact had become trash in his eyes. Long Fei immediately said, "Then throw up all this trash for me. Don't eat it, you even eat trash, what do you count as? Return it to me." With this, the elder was rendered speechless. He said trash himself, but he even ate trash. This. Xiao Bai carefully reminded, "Master, don't provoke him." Ice and Fire also tremblingly said, "Master, calm down, calm down. Do not offend him, or else." F***ck. Long Fei shouted angrily, "You guys are really afraid of being roasted and steamed away. Can you guys be a little unyielding? Old man, throw up that trash. Spit it out if you have the ability. If you can't spit it out, then don't talk to me about trash. If you eat my holy artifact, then don't talk about trash. Just think about how angry you are." Long Fei was furious. Saying that, Long Fei's tears started to fall uncontrollably. "Am I that easy to make a holy artifact? You said eat it, then eat it. Did you go buy me and eat it? Ah! Do you know how I've been through all these years? Do you know how important these things are to me?" Long Fei's tone had changed too quickly. He was so fast that the old man couldn't react in time. He still wanted to be angry, but now he could not be angry. Huff. The old man impatiently said, all right, it's only a few pieces of trash. Don't worry, with me here, you'll get as much trash as you want. I really can't stand it." Immediately, Long Fei's tears rolled back, and she immediately said, "You're the one who said this, I'm not forcing you. You can have as many as you want." Xiao Bai, you all heard the voice, right? Even Long Fei himself was impressed with his acting. Tears come when you say they do. He thought to himself, if I were to perform in a movie, I would be able to get on top of everything like the Oscars, the Golden Image Awards, the Golden Horse Awards, and the Best Actor. Xiao Bai and Bing Hua immediately nodded. They felt the old man's gaze and quickly shook his head. Long Fei said, "You said it yourself, as a man, you have to say it. Of course, if you think you are a woman, you can deny what you just said." Ha ha ha. A burst of wild laughter came from the depths of the pubes. Long Fei's sea of consciousness was shaken to the point where even his mind was churning and was slightly unable to endure it. As soon as the old man finished laughing, he said, "You little rascal. Your temper suits this noble one's tastes. From now on, you are my Yang Huang ancestor's disciple." Wait. Long Fei immediately told him to stop and said, "You want to take me in as your disciple? I have yet to acknowledge you as my master." Yang Huang ancestor asked, "What's wrong? You're still not willing?" Long Fei immediately said, "Of course not. Do you think I would accept it? You're my disciple after all." Yang Huang ancestor stared at him and said, "Brat, do you know in the past, even if War King was kneeling in front of me, begging to become my disciple, I wouldn't even look at him. Right now, how many people wouldn't even dare dream about becoming my disciple? Do you know who I am? I am the Yang Huang ancestor, an Empyrean god of primal chaos. Who in the 3 realms doesn't know of me? Who wouldn't be afraid?" Many experts trembled in fear when they heard my name. How? Stop, quickly stop. Long Fei was shocked in his heart, but on the surface, he laughed in disdain. "Old man, those were all in the past. Do you know what I used to be like? I killed the heavenly boss with one hand and millions of my descendants with the other. That so-called 3 realms of the Buddha demon god is just a piece of cake." Long Fei did not take it seriously at all. However, what he said was the truth. On Earth, he could indeed be like that. He played the game with one hand and his little brother with the other. With one hand, he beheaded the gods, while with the other, he smacked the ground. Yang Huang ancestor did not know how to react, and asked, "You were? May I ask what was your previous title? How come I've never heard of such an expert?" He could produce billions of children. Your technique is too powerful. Long Fei said, the idol of millions of youths, male god. The auntie weeps for me, the young lady is sad for me, even the goddess is crying for me. I am called Brother Meng by other names, you can also call me Hard-Shelled King. Brother Sheng Meng? Fortitude King? Yang Huang ancestor pondered for a moment, but could not figure out who it was. He muttered, I've never heard of it. Cough cough. Long Fei almost spurted a mouthful of blood from his mouth as he forcefully held back his laughter and said, the nickname is just a fake name, as if I've never heard of you before. I just wanted to tell you, don't mention the past, whatever past, it's all just a fake name. Bring out something practical. Long Fei felt that the Yang Huang ancestor was about to take the bait, and thought to himself, after eating so many of my holy artifact, there should at least be some rewards, right? Otherwise, it would be a huge loss. Ha ha ha. Yang Huang ancestor laughed, and said, boy, you are right. If we do not mention the courage of a good man back then, I should indeed use some of my strength to show you the power of my Yang Huang ancestor. That's right. Why didn't you do this earlier? Long Fei laughed. Just as he finished, the dragon Salia began to tremble violently, and started to tremble uncontrollably. It was afraid again, extremely afraid. Long Fei was stunned. Damn, you still dare to swallow my dragon Salia? Yang Huang ancestor laughed. Didn't you want me to take something out? This is the power of my Yang Huang ancestor. Ha ha ha. Boy, just wait and see. Whoosh. Half of the space ring disappeared. Long Fei started to curse anxiously. Old man, I'm going to fight it out with you. Chapter 9. 8_841923565539. The dragon Salia had been eaten. What was so special about that? The dragon Salia had been eaten. What was so special about that? Long Fei's anger was about to burn his head. But before he could finish speaking, Long Fei, who was clenching the other half of the dragon Salia tightly in his hands, could no longer control it. Shua. With a hum, it shook off Long Fei's hands and instantly disappeared. F***K your mother shouted in rage. Dragon Salia was the Long family's heirloom, the belief of the Long family. Now that it was gone and eaten, how could he not be arrogant? Ah! Come out and return my dragon Salia. Long Fei was incomparably furious. Everything else was fine, except for the dragon Salia. This was because it was something left behind by the master, the belief of the Long family. At the moment of his anger, the Yang Huang ancestor suddenly moved. Long Fei's broken pubes surged with an incomparably ferocious power. It was savage, bloody, and at the same time, carried the wrath of the divine dragon. Long Fei could clearly feel that scene. Blood dyed the sky red. The earth was filled with rivers of blood. A dragon god was groaning in pain and roaring. Dragon blood splattered everywhere. In the center of the dragon head was an incomparably savage large blade. The dragon god was firmly nailed there, and the large blade was crazily absorbing the dragon god's blood essence, gathering it bit by bit. While he was absorbing the dragon god's blood essence, the large saber was also unceasingly refining. The body of the saber was constantly changing, and the back of the blade was slowly covered with a raging dragon god's pattern. Fierce. Terrifying. At this moment, a beam of astral fire descended like a meteor, blasting onto the body of the dragon-blooded saber. Following which, the flames began to burn as well as the fresh blood within. The entire dragon god was also burning. Roar. The dragon god roared. Finally the enormous body of the dragon god that stretched for a few 100,000 kilometers vanished, charging into the huge blade. On the back of the saber, a dragon god sat coiled, ferociously roaring. At this moment, with a flick of his wrist, all of the blood was sucked into the blade. Rumble. 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 The earth split open and the sky shattered. All living things in the world became like ants as this great blade was born. All of them were trembling. At this moment, an explosive sound came from within Long Fei's pubes. Yang Huang ancestor's feeble voice came out as he said in an incomparably domineering manner, "Brat, did you see my strength clearly? The dragon Salia has rebuilt it for you." Ding. Congratulations to player Long Fei for obtaining Dragon Salia. At this moment, Long Fei was dumbstruck. He was completely dumbfounded. In the past, he had always been the one who shocked others, but now, his heart was in complete shock. The dragon god, the dragon blood, the flames in the sky, the earth, the sky, everything in the world, they were all worshipping. The impact on Long Fei's mind was too big. Looking at the dragon Salia lying quietly within, the dragon god's furious roar, the tempering of the heavenly fire, and the scarlet color of the dragon's blood seemed to faintly flash across the sky. Long Fei trembled slightly as the idea moved. Weapon, Dragon Salia, can be leveled up, grade, Supreme God, upgradable, weight, 13,000 Jin damage. Description: killing a demonic weapon will deal 500% increased attack damage to evil creatures, 100% increased attack damage to dragon creatures. Additional skill Dragon Spirit Killer will lead to a 100% increase in critical rate. Description 2, unknown, to be opened. Description 3, unknown, to be opened. Looking at the description and the attributes of the Dragon Salia, they were several times stronger than the original Dragon Salia. Just the weight alone was 10 times heavier than before. Long Fei moved. Ding. My wrist is not strong enough, I can't use one hand. Unable to grab it with his right hand, Long Fei looked at his wrist strength requirement, and required 999 wrist strength to use. Both of his hands moved, and he shouted, "Come out!" Buzz. As the blade aura exploded, the blade aura of the Dragon Salia in the center of Long Fei continued to release, crushing those ghost warriors to the ground, causing them to tremble uncontrollably. Supreme Artifact's power also erupted. Long Fei could only describe this feeling with one word, as he could feel the three powerful energies within the Dragon Salia, Heaven Flame, Dragon God, and Dragon Blood, constantly assaulting his soul. Awesome. Delightful to the extreme. The Yang Huang ancestor said solemnly, "This is only the initial stage of the Dragon Salia's evolution. Once I let it level up to the peak realm, even the War King in this world would be able to kill it with a single slash. Kid. Do I have the right to be your master now?" Hoo. Yang Huang ancestor's breathing became hurried, and he was even a little out of breath when he spoke. Even an expert of the War King realm was killed with a single slash? Isn't that an invincible existence? Long Fei sincerely admired him in his heart, and immediately said, "Master." Yang Huang ancestor grinned and laughed, "Ha ha ha." His voice became weaker and weaker. "I can't take it anymore. I have to replenish my soul with the true breath. My remnant soul is too weak. Kid, I will leave first, don't call me for 3 days. As he spoke, then he would completely disappear. Long Fei was unable to sense his existence. Just now, when Yang Huang ancestor used the true breath to refine the Dragon Salia, he had expended a large amount of profound qi. It would take time to recover. Long Fei did not disturb him either. Looking at the Dragon Salia in his hands, he felt incomparably excited. It was also at this moment. Ding. Congratulations to player Long Fei for completing the repair of the Dragon Salia quest. You have received 1000 experience points, 10,000 true breath S, and a 10% increase in the activation rate of the Dragon Spirit Killer. Ding. Congratulations to player Long Fei for obtaining the Dragon Salia's secret. Do you wish to check? 10,000 true breath S returned to the true breath slot. Before Long Fei could say anything, they were automatically absorbed by the Yang Huang ancestor. Yang Huang ancestor was confused. Why did Long Fei suddenly add 10,000 true breath points? Recovering in a few seconds? It was simply impossible. Even a peerless genius would not be able to recover so quickly. With regards to the system beep, other than Long Fei, no one else could hear anything, including the Yang Huang ancestor in his body. Although he did not know why there were suddenly 10,000 true breath S in Long Fei's body, the Yang Huang ancestor was excited and thought to himself, "Good boy, if we play in the future, ha ha ha. My Yang Huang ancestor will definitely slaughter his way back to the Chaos Realm one day. Just you all wait, just wait till you all tremble for my return." Long Fei moved and said, "Check." Ding. The system sounded out. Dragon Salia, the ancestors of the Long family killed the Dragon God and poured the Dark Dragon God's blood essence to create it. The dragon god's power is contained within the seal, and those who control the dragon Salia grasp the dragon tribe. Caret, half, / float asterisk, life. Bring the dragon Salia to find the dragon clan, we can order them. A few short sentences. Long Fei was dumbstruck. Could dragon Salia command dragons? Chapter 98_841923565540. Long Fei was truly befuddled. Long Fei was truly befuddled. Damn. This is unbelievable. Long Fei's little heart could not take it anymore. This is the dragon Salia's secret, too awesome. He's actually the strongest being in the Sky Martial continent, the dragon race. Isn't this way too much? Ding. Congratulations to player Long Fei for coming across the SSS level quest, to find the dragon domain. Quest, looking for the dragon domain time, infinite reward, 100 million experience points, 1 million true breath, 10,000 dragon and blood linear. Damn. SSS level quest. I've played so many games and done countless quests, but I've never encountered a SSS level quest. This quest's level is truly heaven-defying. Moreover, what is a 10,000 dragon blood lineage? Long Fei was so excited that it was a complete mess. He immediately said, accept. I have to accept it. How cool was it to order the dragon clan around? In the entire Sky Martial continent, who could do this? Once the mission was completed, the dragon race would be the strongest force of the Long family. Moreover, each of the Long family's disciples would have a huge dragon. They were all dragon knights. Thinking about that scene, Long Fei could not help but roar, fuck, who else is there? Myriad dragon blood lineage? What kind of blood lineage is this? Was it a blood lineage formed from 10,000 dragon blood lineage? That was a level higher than divine dragon blood lineage. I can't take it anymore, my little heart can't take it anymore. The more Long Fei thought about it, the more excited he became. He felt like his heart was about to start beating. Hoo. Taking a deep breath, he kept the dragon Salia and said excitedly, when that day comes, when I ride the dragon and appear, won't the girls of Sky Martial continent become crazy for me? The scene was too beautiful to imagine. Ha ha ha. Ha ha ha. Long Fei laughed complacently, pleased with himself, laughed as though he was a B*TCH. At this time, a ghost warrior asked carefully, Little Master Long Fei, you promised us that you would release us, but now that Nangong Wudi is also dead, and the Great Temple is also destroyed, can you let us go? Yeah. I beg of you, please let us go. It's been thousands of years. Our souls have been crushed for thousands of years. Let us remove them. Please. Ghost warrior knelt on the ground and kowtowed to Long Fei. Long Fei regained his senses, seeing all of them, his eyebrows tightened. To be honest, he really did not want to let these ghost warriors go. These ghost warrior were simply just upgrading machines. He still vividly remembered the battle just now. Nangong Wudi was an expert of the War Master, but what about it? He was not a match at all. Their existence was just a bug. Long Fei really couldn't bear to part with them. However, when a man speaks, he means what he says. If not for the help of these ghost warrior, Long Fei would not have been a match for Nangong Wudi. If it was a one-on-one battle, he wouldn't be Nangong Wudi's match even if it were 10 people. In the world of martial Dao, the realm was king. Long Fei's current level was still too low. To become stronger, he could only rely on continuous breakthroughs. The higher the level, the stronger the holy artifact's might was. Huff. Long Fei clenched his teeth, and said with a slight smile, I will definitely do what I promised you. And then, Long Fei looked like he was cutting meat. He opened the system, controlled the idea and said, release Ghost Warrior. The moment he said it, Long Fei felt as if a piece of flesh had been cut off, and he also felt relieved. It was extremely painful, but the feeling of his soul sublimating made him feel extremely good. Thank you. Long Fei, thank you. Thank you. All of them thanked Long Fei, and at the same time, the bodies of the Ghost Warrior began to shine with a little light, like the light emitted by a firefly, as they slowly gathered on Long Fei's body. Bit by bit, They were slowly disappearing as well. After the 3,800 Ghost Warrior-s disappeared, a system announcement rang out in Long Fei's mind. Ding! Congratulations to player Long Fei for obtaining a piece of great merit, gaining an experience point, true breath point, and 100 points. Congratulations to player Long Fei for obtaining special reward package. Do you wish to check it? Special reward package? It must be something good. Every time this gift pack appeared, they would either kill the boss or break through a certain boundary to complete a quest. It was always a good thing. Long Fei could not wait and said, "Check it out." The idea moved and opened the box. Ding! Congratulations to player Long Fei for obtaining Death Calling God Seal. Ding! Congratulations player Long Fei for gaining 100 experience points by touching the merit system, True Breath 100 points, and the reward is 100 points. Without needing Long Fei to say anything, 20,000 True Breath-s disappeared in an instant. Was absorbed by the Yang Huang ancestor. Long Fei did not mind, his current thoughts were all on the Death Calling God Seal. Item, Death Calling God Seal grade, Divine level consumption, 1 million True Breath-s cooldown, 24 hours description. The seal of STYX controls hundreds of thousands of ghosts in the Netherworld ghost manner. With a move of the Divine Seal, a ghost is summoned at random. However, a level 1 kid can also be a full-level Ghost King or a Yellow Springs Great Emperor. Description 2, Death Calling God Seal can crush all specters and ghosts, and the absorbed specters and wraiths will forever remain in the Divine Seal. Description 3, the Yellow Springs Divine Seal can train ghosts and vengeful spirits that it absorbs. Awesome. Looking at the attribute, Long Fei had an extremely excited expression. Luckily I chose to release it, otherwise how would I have this holy artifact as a treasure? I was lucky enough to be able to summon the Yellow Springs Great Emperor. Does it have to be so outrageous? Immediately, Long Fei suddenly started to worry, and immediately said to the Yang Huang ancestor among the Pubies, "Ancestor, don't let me eat this. If you want the true breath, I will replenish it later, as long as you want to replenish it." The old patriarch didn't react immediately. After a long time, Yang Huang ancestor's voice sounded, "This item is not bad." It was just a simple sentence, and there was no other sound. Long Fei became even more excited. Even the Yang Huang ancestor said that the things they said were not bad, which meant that the Divine Seal of STYX was a very powerful thing, and there were not many things that could enter his eyes. If the Tyrant God grade set was trash, then how much higher was this Divine Seal of STYX? Ha ha ha. Long Fei started laughing maniacally again. I really did earn big today. He felt as if he had drunk a whole box of wine. This was simply crooked. The refinement of the yellow flame energy had brought out the Yang Huang ancestor. The Dragon Salya leveled up and fused, exposing the Dragon Salya's peerless secret. And now, he had released these ghosts to acquire a special merit and a special reward of Death Calling God Seal. This was a heaven-defying stroke of luck. Long Fei's heart tightened. This is really great, ha ha ha. The young master will definitely be fine. Jojo, don't worry, he will definitely be fine. Baidu search, half afloat Long family. Everyone was worried about Long Fei. Pills. Dragon Spirit Pill. Quickly give me the Dragon Spirit Pill. Long Fei ran into the courtyard and shouted anxiously, "Ancestor, you must be all right." The 10th chapter was delivered. This week, there are 10 chapters, no script. The sea has been destroyed by you guys. I am currently rushing the draft with all my might. The snow outside is falling heavily, my hands and feet are freezing cold, it really feels terrible. Brothers, if you have a monthly ticket, please help me pass it. 8_841923565541. Ancestor, don't scare me like that. I was even pointing at your wealth. Become stronger and live the life of a hippo. You can't have any mishaps. When Long Fei returned to the Long family's residence, he immediately shouted, "Quickly give me the Dragon Spirit Pill, the Dragon Spirit Pill. Ancestor, don't scare me like that. I was even pointing at your wealth. Become stronger and live the life of a hippo. You can't have any mishaps." When Long Fei returned to the Long family's residence, he immediately shouted, Quickly give me the dragon spirit pill, the dragon spirit pill. The entire Long family was shocked. Liu Feng quickly ran out with a large bottle of dragon spirit pills and said, "Young Master Long, dragon spirit pills." He didn't rest the whole night as he continued to concoct dragon spirit pills. In the Long family, he worked even harder. Because Long Fei had given him freedom, given him the formula for the dragon spirit pill, and let him vent his anger, he wanted to thank Long Fei from the bottom of his heart. Long Fei grabbed the bottle of dragon spirit elixir and poured it non-stop into his mouth. Ding. True breath, replenish 1,500 points. Ding. True breath will be reduced by 1,500 points. Ding. True breath, replenish 1,500 points. Ding. Long Fei's true breath slot was like a bottomless pit, it could not be filled at all, and the large bottle with more than 100 dragon spirit pellets was swallowed. Only then did Yang Huang Ancestor recover a bit of his aura. Yang Huang Ancestor slightly said, "Brat, enough. Within 3 days, I don't need to devour your true breath anymore." 3 days. Long Fei said bitterly, "You're really going to eat us all to death. It's not enough to have a Xiaobai wolf who devours spirit stones. Now there's even a Yang Huang Ancestor. I owe you all this from my previous life." Long Fei started to complain. However, although Long Fei was complaining, he was still very excited. Let's not talk about Xiaobai, just the fact that Yang Huang Ancestor leveling up his Dragon Salya was not something that a few holy artifact could do, and the additional ability Dragon Spirit Killer was even stronger than one blade stream, Dragon Slash. When the Dragon Spirit Killer came into contact with the blade's critical hit point, it could instantly kill. Big brother Long Fei. Young master. Bastard. The girls ran up to him, all of them looking extremely concerned. Seeing that Long Fei was all right, they all felt relieved. Long Fei laughed faintly, happiness surging in his heart, thinking to himself, "This feeling is too blissful. Previously I was just a otaku, but now with so many beautiful girls by my side, what the heck is going on? I'm fine." Long Fei asked, "Grandfather, uncle, how are they?" Xiaobai walked over and said, "They should be fine. They should be able to recover after a few days of rest." "That's good." Long Fei's heart also relaxed, as he said, "Jojo, you all should go rest first. I'll look for you in the afternoon, I still have some matters to take care of." Jojo giggled and said, "Yes." The leopard girl also giggled. Liu Luoshi lightly bit her lips. It was very tempting as she said, "Long Fei, the Long family's matter is over. It's time for us to leave as well." Xiao Tiantian muttered to herself, and said, "Elder senior sister, we should stay in the Long family. When we return to the branch division, we should see that annoying Dongfang Jian." Yi Zian also said, "That's right, senior sister, let's stay at the Long family." Liu Luoshi glanced at Long Fei and paused for half a second, then said, "This is the Long family, not our branch in the Sky sect. Let's go." After which, he walked out. Just as he took his first step, Long Fei grabbed onto Liu Luoshi's hand and said, "You can put this place in front of your own home." Holding Liu Luoshi's small hand, it was very soft, somewhat cold, like water. Liu Luoshi's hands lightly trembled. He wanted to pull out, but Long Fei held him even tighter. With a slight movement, he pulled Liu Luoshi down in front of him and said in a domineering and cold manner, "Stay here." Xiao Tiantian looked at Long Fei's tyrannical and cold expression, then immediately nodded his head. So handsome. Yi Zian's face was also filled with infatuation. Liu Luoshi lowered his head, still trying to resist. But right at this moment, Long Fei tyrannically carried her in his arms and said, "Stay, accompany me." Liu Luoshi threw herself into Long Fei's embrace, listened to Long Fei's heartbeat, felt the fiery heat emitted from Long Fei's body, and at this moment, her heart was about to melt. Xiao Tiantian and Yi Zian were shocked. They immediately jumped up and said, "Big senior sister, hey." Liu Luoshi regained his senses, and quickly struggled and said, "Long Fei, don't be like this, someone is watching us." However, no matter how she struggled, she was unable to break free from Long Fei's embrace. Furthermore, she hugged him even tighter. Long Fei said tyrannically, "So what if you look? You are my woman, why should I be afraid of others watching?" I am not your woman. Liu Luoshi resisted and said. Her. The corner of Long Fei's mouth drew back, revealing a mischievous smile. He looked at Liu Luoshi and asked, "What did you say just now?" Liu Luoshi said in a low voice, "I am not your woman." "Say it again." The evil smile on Long Fei's face became even wider. Liu Luoshi did not dare look into Long Fei's devilish eyes, and said, "I am not your woman." Not waiting for her to finish, Long Fei forcefully kissed it tyrannically, blocking Liu Luoshi's mouth, making her unable to speak. Ooh! Liu Luoshi's eyes were wide opened as he stared at Long Fei. His mouth had some sweetness, his body felt as though it had been electrocuted, causing him to feel numb. The feeling was extremely strange. He even forgot to breathe. Ooh! Ooh! Liu Luoshi struggled with all his might and finally broke free from Long Fei's embrace. Of course. This was something Long Fei had purposely released, and laughed sinisterly. "I have already planted a love imprint on you. You are now my woman, and you are, and will still be in your next life." Liu Luoshi gasped for breath heavily, staring at Long Fei. He was unable to say a word. Xiao Tiantian and Yi Xian were dumbfounded by what they saw. Isn't this too overbearing? A strong kiss. And it was towards the goddess Liu Luoshi of the Sky Sect. Wow. Liu Luoshi's breathing stopped, and so did theirs. Wow. Eldest senior sister, is this your first kiss? Xiao Tiantian started giggling excitedly. At the same time, there was a hint of envy in his eyes. He looked at Long Fei and said naughtily, "Stupid rogue, force a kiss on me. Let me enjoy that kind of overbearing and cold feeling." Yi Xian also came over. Liu Luoshi regained his composure, his expression somewhat cold, and said solemnly, "Junior sister apprentice, let's go." Finished. With one in each hand, they walked out of the Long family's residence. "Senior sister, let's stay. Let us stay." "Eldest senior sister, I want to be forcefully kissed by him. You didn't know earlier that he was too handsome, so handsome that he fell to pieces." "Senior sister." Long Fei laughed sinisterly. "Liu Luoshi, you are always my Long Fei's woman, wherever you go." Liu Luoshi did not turn back as she quickly walked out of the room. The first chapter. Thank you 1YNN, Chingching's Tears, for your support of the 10,000 mooncakes. Thank you Mr. Zeus, God, Shueya, Ying Feng, Mr. Jiang, Greedy Wolf, Bo Wen, Dugu Ling, Yi Luocean, Precious, Bird Soul, Life Like a Dream, Mr. Ang, Mudloach, Old Hu Yong, Master Hu Yong, Yi Yu Yeshong, Ambiguous, Impudent, Youth, Xeroxy, Silence, 750, Ching Cheng, Sky and Earth, Free Wolf, 6789, replied Mo Xiong, Shadow, Little Jiang, HDA, Long Fei, still lacks maturity. 8_841923565542. Long family, meeting room. Long family, meeting room. Long Sanfeng was recuperating, so Long Fei had to carry the big banner of the Long family. Long Lei, do not let any of the people from the Nangong imperial clan escape. All of them will be imprisoned in the imperial palace until they die of old age. Long Fei ordered. Long Feng, lead 5,000 Long family troops to receive the Zhuge army. If they don't accept the conscription, don't force me to come back to the imperial city immediately. I will think of a way to deal with them. Meng Yu, Long Shan, lead all 5,000 Long family troops to subdue the Li family's troops. Just like Long Feng, if you don't agree, then immediately retreat. Long Yun, you are in charge of the affairs of the Fire Glass City. Within 3 days, you must make the Fire Glass City return to normal. Long Fei looked at Wang Jinglian and said, Fatty Wang, your father is the minister, immediately draft a plan to reduce the taxes. It must be completed within 3 days. Although the Long family has defeated the Three Pillars and the Nangong imperial clan, they have offended too many people this time. It would be very messy and lively. Long Yun, your responsibilities are very heavy, especially those aristocratic powers. If they dare have even the slightest bit of ill intent, kill them without question. Long Fei reminded her. Yesterday, he had killed so many talented disciples outside the Violet Gold Temple, and these people were all noble sons, a very strong force in the Fireglass City. The most important factor in a country's stability is its people. As long as the Long family was acknowledged and respected by the commoners, it would be impossible for even some aristocratic powers to rebel against them. In addition, Long Fei thought for a while, then said, "Isn't Nangong Xiao still alive?" Allowing him to ascend to the throne, and even giving the Zen position to my uncle Long Zhanhai, this matter. "Xiao Bai, you do it." Xiao Bai replied, "Understood. All right, that's it for now. Everyone get busy. Everyone must remember, do not harm the people, we must erect the image of our Long family." Long Fei reminded her. "Yes, sir." Everyone quickly dispersed. In their hearts, they admired Long Fei to the point of prostrating themselves before him. Of course. What they didn't know was that Long Fei had learned these from movies in his previous life. How does one govern the country? He didn't know anything either. However, there was one thing he knew. A country's prosperity depended on the lowest class of people. If the people lived well, then the country would definitely not be bad. After arranging everything, Long Fei returned to the thatched courtyard at the back of the mountain. Jojo, the leopard girl and the shadow were all waiting for him. Long Fei looked at them and smiled slightly, saying, "Why haven't you all slept yet? You all haven't slept for the entire night, could it be? Do you want to sleep with me? Heh. And then, Long Fei laughed sinisterly. The three great beauties serving him was something that they didn't even dare to think about. The leopard girl giggled, "Big brother Long Fei, do you want us to go to bed for you?" Jojo's face was flushed red as she said, "Young master." Her voice was a bit coquettish, causing Long Fei to feel waves of shock. Heh. Long Fei rubbed his hands together, revealing a wolf-like gaze. Just as he was about to pounce on them, a Dragon Clan disciple ran in hurriedly and said, reporting to the young master, Master Chen, Prime Minister Wu, and a few other patriarchs of the S are all kneeling at the Long family's gate, requesting to see you. F***CK. Long Fei cursed in his heart and said, "Let them die." Disturbing this young master's good fortune. The Long family disciple shivered slightly, then carefully asked, "Are you all going to die?" "Yes, sir. All of you, die." Long Fei was very unhappy. Jojo said, "Young master, you should go take a look. They are all nobles of Fireglass City." Huff. Long Fei laughed evilly and said, "You guys wait for me." With that, Long Fei walked out quickly. Dozens of noble ministers were kneeling at the Long family's gate. Most of them were the ones who stood by Nangong Lei's side last night. Now Nangong Lei had collapsed. The Nangong royal family were completely destroyed by Long Fei. They were afraid that they would be rewarded for their misfortune and took the initiative to come to beg for forgiveness. Moreover, he even brought a lot of good things. When they saw Long Fei walking out, all of them kneeled down and said, "Young Master Long, please spare our lives." "Young Master Long, we were forced to do this. It was Nangong Lei, that bastard, who forced us to submit. Young Master Long, we're innocent." All of them looked like dead fathers. People in their 50s or 60s began to cry. Long Fei looked at the gifts they had brought and said softly, "Bring all of these into the Dragon Manor. As for you, you don't need me to tell you what you should know, right? Just help the Long family honestly. Also, do you know what the Nangong Imperial clan is doing? You should know what to do about the public opinion in Fireglass City, right? I don't need to teach you all. Let's go. Perform well. Otherwise, if you can't protect your head, it is possible to move it." Long Fei threatened. Everyone shuddered and nearly fell paralyzed to the ground. To kill in troubled times. At the moment, the Fireglass City had yet to reach an uncontrollable situation. Unless it was absolutely necessary, Long Fei would not advocate a massacre, even though he could gain experience by killing, striking energy value, but he was not a homicidal demon. He would not become a homicidal demon, nor would he be controlled by the system. He is him, Long Fei. Everyone kneeled down and was about to leave. At this moment, a cold sword attacked. Shua. With a sudden stab, it locked onto the center between Long Fei's brows and roared deeply, "Long Fei, go and die." The killing intent was overwhelming. "Be careful, young lord." A Long family disciple rushed forward. Poochie. The back of the Dragon Clan disciple was struck by a sword. Long Fei also reacted in a flash, his right arm sinking as he used his hand as a sword drawing form. Shua. He took a step forward. The sword in his hand directly pierced through the assassin's throat. Poochie. Ding. Congratulations to player Long Fei for killing Nangong Yi for obtaining 100 EXP, 100 true breath and 100 energy. The remnants of the Nangong Imperial clan? You're looking to die, right? When Nangong Lei died, all of the Nangong army's members were killed, but Long Fei of the Duke Nangong residence did not give the order to rush in and kill them all. But they. Just as Long Fei was thinking about this. Swish. 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 Take revenge for the prince. Kill Long Fei. Avenge the young mistress. Several assassins rushed out, and those nobles stepped aside in fear of getting caught in the crossfire. Young master, be careful. The injured Long clan disciple shouted worriedly. Long Fei gave him a healing pill. And then, looking at the assassins, Long Fei squinted his eyes slightly. He released his killing intent and shouted, "Ice and fire, shoot them to death." Roar, equals half caret float # life caret. The icefire dragon rushed out, roaring like flames as it charged out. He directly forced them to retreat, and instantly, a strange sound came from his throat. The ice sword shot out and killed several of the assassins, and some of them even fell to the ground heavily injured. Long Fei slowly walked forward. Ambushed your father? With a move of his two hands, he summoned his Dragon Salya, and the new Dragon Salya slashed down with his blade. Then use your blood to open my blade. The second chapter. Thank you Xiao Yarrow for your reward of 100,000 mooncakes. The first chief, Hai Yang, is extremely grateful. 8_841923565543. A series of beatings. A series of beatings. Using his strongest power to kill. These people were not strong, but they were just a few death warriors. They did not need to use ice or fire, nor did they need to use Dragon Salya. The Dragon Salya have fused together. So, that dragon is a dual attribute ice and fire dragon. If the Dragon Salya recovers, then that means that its level is already a supreme divine level weapon. Too powerful. There's a Dragon Salya, there's a dual attribute giant dragon. Unless the current Long family is a large sect, who else can shake them? Long Fei stepped on the head of an assassin and said coldly, "You think you can assassinate me? Die." With one slash, the assassin's head was chopped off. It was also at this time. Long Yun rushed out with his army. "You dare to assassinate the young master?" Long Yun looked around and asked with concern, "Young master, are you hurt?" Long Fei shook his head, looking at the surrounding nobles who had not dispersed. He coldly shouted, "You dare to go against the Long family?" With a single kick, he smashed a human head to pieces. This is the result. Boom. Long Fei's aura suddenly shook. The brutal and tyrannical king's aura caused everyone to tremble. All of them knelt on the floor, shivering uncontrollably. Long Fei was too terrifying. Even Long Yun was secretly shocked. Fear rose in his heart. Long Fei said, "General Long Yun, bring along the Long family's army and flank the entire Duke Nangong palace. Since you are so shameless, then let them disappear from this world forever. Distribute all the gold, silver, and jewelry that were copied out from the Nangong Imperial clan to the poor people in the slums." Finished. Long Fei coldly swept a glance at those nobles and dukes, used his strength to carry the Dragon Salya on his shoulder and whistled towards the sky, ice and fire. She opened her fire and ice wings and dove down silently to stand beside Long Fei. He was utterly domineering. Long Fei walked back to the courtyard. Only after seeing Long Fei disappear into the distance did the people at the gate let out a heavy sigh of relief. Long Yun immediately shouted, "Listen to my orders, target the Nangong Imperial clan, run forward." Did Tiger King really think of Tiger Lord as a sick cat? After the assassins from the King Nangong residence were killed, the Fireglass City slowly calmed down. 3 days later, Long Zhanhai ascended the throne and became the emperor of the empire. He changed the name of the empire to Yuan Long Empire. The Li family and Zhuge legions were successfully recruited. Meng Yu continued to command the 10,000 soldiers of the Long family and commander of the Wolong Valley, guarding the hundreds of thousands of barren mountains and controlling the fire-type spiritual herbs in the desolate mountain. Long Yun controlled the imperial guards and guarded the imperial city. Long Shan integrated the 5,000 soldiers of the Long family into the Zhuge army. He was the great general. Long Lei integrated the 5,000 Long family soldiers into the Li family's army. He, too, was a great general. Long Feng re-established his Battle Dragon Legion and guarded the south side. In a short half a month, the Long family controlled the Yuan Long dynasty firmly. The country was prosperous, the people lived and worked happily, and everything was prosperous. Tomorrow is the new year. Jojo looked at the snow that was falling from the sky, and happily jumped about in the snow. While she was jumping, her body faintly flashed with white wings, which were like the wings of a phoenix. After she had merged with the phoenix blood lineage, it was as if she had broken through the shackles of being unable to cultivate. After a few days of breakthroughs, in just half a month, she had already broke through the 9th level of the war spirit. The power of the blood lineage was too strong. The holy vein was incomparable. Other than Jojo, the leopard girl was the same, she had been cultivating during this period of time as well. The rune power that the evil ancestor left her allowed her to train at a much faster speed. The power of these runes was as pure as fire. It could instantly condense 3 sharp javelins from the void. Simultaneously release. Even if Long Fei could teleport, it would be hard to dodge. Sister Jojo, I'm here too. The leopard girl immediately took off the leopard pattern cloak on her body, leaving behind only the leopard pattern barrier. That small waist. The leopard tattoo on the inner and outer shell, and the fact that it was so close to bursting out, made people want to puke out a nosebleed. She didn't feel the slightest bit of cold, and her perky little butt started to move, causing any man to be unable to withstand it. The shadow also walked out from the darkness and stood quietly behind Long Fei. After fusing with her divine tiger physique, her cultivation had also improved by leaps and bounds. Combined with her hidden cultivation method, she was now an existence that no one could feel. Clang! The door to the courtyard was pushed open. Long Zhanhai walked in. Jojo and the leopard girl immediately stopped in their tracks. Paying respects to your majesty. Long Zhanhai shook, and said, "What emperor? There's no emperor here, and you guys have already said it countless of times, so how can you all look outside?" Long Fei also walked forward, and said, "Uncle, it's the new year, and we have to invite 100 officials for a feast. You should be very busy right now, why are you here?" Long Zhanhai said, "If I really came to tell you this, at tomorrow's official banquet, I will annul the throne, and let you." Not waiting for him to finish, Long Fei immediately replied, "Uncle, you stop, I can't do this. I am free and unrestrained now, I don't want to be the emperor, haven't you been doing well in this period of time?" Indeed. Long Zhanhai was very good at governing countries. Long Zhanhai anxiously asked, "Brat, what nonsense are you talking about? Back then, father made you the young master of the Long family in the ancestral hall, and that was to let you take over the banner of the Long family in the future. Now that the Long family has become the new emperor, of course you can take over the position. Uncle, please spare me, I really am not someone who is qualified to manage a country, let me manage a harem concubine or something." Before Long Fei could finish his sentence, he was glared at by Jojo and the leopard girl with an angry look. Long Fei immediately changed his words, and said, "Uncle, what I pursue is freedom, unrestrained and unrestrained. This is life, you should be the emperor, ha ha ha. To be an emperor. How many people's dreams were these? The harem had 3,000, and there were countless beauties. Every year, he would be able to go out and choose a concubine. Just kill whoever you want to. Being able to reach the heavens in power, just how refreshing was that? However, not when you're really an emperor. At least, Long Fei didn't want to be the emperor. As an emperor, he had to be responsible for this country. Long Fei did not want to be bound, he preferred to be free. Long Zhanhai asked, "Xiao Fei, what do you want to be the emperor?" At this moment, Liu Luoshi and the two sisters walked into the small courtyard. This was the first time the three of them came to the dragon sword since they left the last time. Table of contents. Xiao Tiantian ran in, giggled, and said, "Of course it's entering our sec. Long Fei. After receiving your approval, you have earned the qualifications to select the disciples of the 10 Celestial Sect of Wonders on the first day of the first month of next year." Liu Luoshi said, acting as if it was all right. Even now, after being forcefully kissed last time, she still didn't dare look Long Fei in the eye directly. Chapter 3. Thank you, Xiao Yao, for your reward of 100,000 mooncakes. I, Hai Yang, am extremely grateful. 8_841923565544. Yi Xian took out an invitation and walked over to Long Fei's side and said, "These are the selection certificate." Yi Xian took out an invitation and walked over to Long Fei's side and said, "These are the selection certificate." Xiao Tiantian laughed and said, "With your cultivation, if you can get first place in the selection, then you will be rewarded." After he finished speaking, Xiao Tiantian approached Long Fei and whispered, "At that time, there will even be a special reward." Then, she gave Long Fei an ambiguous look. It was as if he was saying, "You know what the reward is." Long Fei was startled. Special reward? Then, Long Fei looked at Liu Luoshi. For some reason, the expression in Liu Luoshi's eyes was somewhat ice-cold. Long Fei had been extremely busy during this period of time, especially dealing with the Yang Huang ancestor. The true breath that this fellow needed was too huge, it would need a few 100,000 points in 3 days, so Long Fei was a little too busy. Adding the lack of fire spirit grasses, he was unable to supply the dragon spirit pills, so Long Fei could only go and make other pills. He had always wanted to find an opportunity to talk to Liu Luoshi. Never had a chance. Looking at Liu Luoshi's ice-cold expression, Long Fei said with a bland smile, "When will I go?" "Junior sister apprentice, the invitation has been delivered. We still have other invitations to send." Liu Luoshi didn't stop at all as he turned and walked out of the courtyard. Yi Xian quickly followed. Xiao Tiantian was reluctant to part with her. After watching Liu Luoshi walk into the distance, she suddenly rushed to Long Fei's ear and said in a low voice, "Senior sister went back and cried for so long that day. I have never seen her so sad. Long Fei, eldest senior sister, has a fiancé and he is very strong. I heard that she has to come to Fire Glass City to fetch her back. That person is very strong, you must be careful. You must also attend the examination. If we leave, we will be waiting for you in the Heaven Sect." Not waiting for her to finish. Liu Luoshi did not turn back as he shouted, "Little junior sister apprentice, hurry up." Xiao Tiantian stuck out her tongue and chased after him. At this moment, tears fell from Liu Luoshi's eyes like droplets of rain. She did not look back, not even when she walked out of the Long family residence. She muttered in her heart, "Long Fei, farewell." There was a ball of paper in her hand. Last time, Long Fei gave it to her in Fire Wolf Valley. It showed a little girl laughing merrily, and a row of words. This time, she came to send off the invitation card, hoping to return this piece of paper to Long Fei. In the end, she didn't know how to talk to Long Fei, nor did she know how to talk to him. She did not dare to take another look at Long Fei. She was afraid that she would not be able to control herself and start crying in front of Long Fei. "I'm so scared, so scared." Long Fei stood in place, not moving at all as the words that Xiao Tiantian had just said kept replaying in his mind. "Senior sister went back and cried for a long time that day. I have never seen her so sad before. Long Fei, eldest senior sister, has a fiancé and he is very strong. I heard that she has to come to Fire Glass City to fetch her back. That person is very strong, you must be careful." These 2 lines of words kept repeating in his mind. Long Fei was very poor in terms of relationships. In his previous life, he had never been in a relationship with a girl, and if a girl did not tell him, he would have no idea what the girl was thinking in her heart. He kept thinking about the meaning of those 2 sentences. For whom? Why are you crying? She had a fiancé. Very strong. The more he thought about it, the angrier Long Fei got. He clenched his fists tightly and said, "It's wrong for a girl to cry." With that, he rushed out. He rushed to the entrance of the courtyard and bumped into Long Shan, who was rushing inside. Long Shan had just returned from the military region and was reporting on recent events. When he saw that he had bumped into Long Fei, he immediately said, "Young master, you have redeemed yourself. I left in too much of a hurry, so I didn't see anything." Long Fei did not care about him and rushed out. Long Shan immediately said loudly, "Young master, Liu Luoshi has something that he wants me to hand to you." Long Fei stopped. Long Shan quickly ran over as he said, "When I came to the Long family's gate, I saw that her eyes were red and swollen from crying. I thought something was wrong." Crying. For some reason, Long Fei suddenly felt a sharp pain in his heart. This was the first time he felt such a heartache, and it was very uncomfortable. Long Shan walked over, took out the piece of paper, and handed it over to Long Fei. "It's this piece of paper. Young master, did you have a misunderstanding with senior sister Liu?" Long Fei opened the paper and took a look. His heart was like a needle, the pain was incomparable, his body was trembling. This was the picture that he drew for Liu Luoshi in the Fire Wolf Valley, a girl who smiled so innocently and innocently. There was also a line of "Smile more every day, you will find the world is so beautiful, idiot, laugh more." However, there were a few lines of elegant words at the back. The words were a little blurry, as if they were soaked by the water droplets and tears. Liu Luoshi's tears fell as he wrote, "Long Fei, thank you. This period of time is the happiest period of my life. Really, thank you. Farewell, my hero, my prince." In that instant, Long Fei felt like he was about to collapse. "Ah!" He gave a long howl to the sky and ran out like a madman. "Liu Luoshi, what are you doing? What the hell are you doing? You are my woman, you are, will be, even in your next life, you are my, Long Fei's woman, so no one can take you away from me." Long Fei's heart was tearing. It was very hard. The discomfort suffocated him. He had never felt anything worse than death. He rushed out of the Long family's residence and into the streets, roaring, "Liu Luoshi." Everyone on the street looked at him curiously. However, none of them were Liu Luoshi. "Ice and fire, as you wish." Ice and fire immediately flew out of the mount space and circled above the fire glass city, continuously searching for the location of Liu Luoshi and the other two. Xiao Bai understood. Xiao Bai also rushed out. The idea that possessed the power of a divine beast quickly spread out, searching for the aura of Liu Luoshi and the other two. However, the fire glass city was simply too big. Finding 3 people in this city with tens of millions of people was like looking for a needle in a haystack. As Xiao Bai and Ice and Fire were searching for Liu Luoshi, Long Fei ran towards the branch of the Heaven sect like a madman. He constantly used teleportation, just like a madman who didn't care about his life. "Liu Luoshi, you big idiot. Long Fei, you are a pig, how can you not tell? Why are you so stupid?" "Ah!" Long Fei spent less than a minute on the half-an-hour journey. Who dares to barge into the branch of the Sky Sect? Long Fei did not pay any attention to him and shouted loudly, "Liu Luoshi." There was no reaction at all. The gatekeeping disciple yelled again, "Brat, I think you must be tired of living." At this moment, Long Fei's gaze darkened. With a move of his right hand, he rushed forward and directly grabbed onto the disciple's throat and raised him into the air. "Let me ask you, where did Liu Luoshi go?" His killing intent surged. If he dared not, Long Fei would immediately kill him. Senior Sister Liu, Senior Sister Yi, and Senior Sister Xiao have left. They are returning to the Heaven sect. Boom. Long Fei's body sank, his right hand loosened, and he said as if his soul had left his body. Left? 36O search. Half floating // equals it was also at this time. Xiao Bai and Bing Hua sent a sound transmission to Long Fei at almost the same time. "Master, it's in the East Gate." "Master, don't come. Don't ever come back here." The 4th chapter. Thank you Xiao Yarrow for your reward of 100,000 mooncakes. 8_84_19_2356545. The voice was urgent. The voice was urgent. And with the pain he had to endure. In that instant, Long Fei's heart sank. Xiao Bai, ice and fire. Master, please don't come, please don't. Master, run, run, run. His voice was incomparably urgent and urgent. Even when they were up against Nangong Wudi, who was at the peak of the war master, they had never done this before. What had happened? Just as Long Fei was rushing towards the Chao Tian sect branch division, at another place. On the main street, goose feathers flying in the snow, the cloaks that Liu Luoshi and the other two were wearing were completely white. Xiao Tiantian jumped in excitement and said, "In half a month, Long Fei will arrive at the Heaven sect. He. Senior sister, when the time comes, the three of us will be able to, hey." His expression was that of a female rogue. Seeing that Liu Luoshi did not say anything, Xiao Tiantian continued to speak. "Next year, we will go up to the Heaven sect together with him. On the way back we will go sightseeing. Wow. Just thinking about it makes me excited." "Huh. Eldest senior sister, this doesn't seem like a trip to Chen Hu's residence. Why does this look like a trip out of the city?" Xiao Tiantian responded. Liu Luoshi's voice was cold, and she said, "We will enter the Heaven sect." Xiao Tiantian was startled. "Today?" Liu Luoshi said, "Right now, the carriage is waiting outside the city." Xiao Tiantian looked at Yi Ziyan, and said somewhat panickedly, "Second senior sister, is this true? Why do you have to leave? Isn't our mission to the Fire Glass City to select outer disciples? The selection hasn't even started, so why are you leaving? Is eldest senior sister lying to me?" Yi Ziyan shook her head. Xiao Tiantian's expression became even gloomier, and said, "Why don't I know anything? Did you guys join together to deceive me?" Yi Ziyan slowly said, "The reason I'm not telling you, is that I'm afraid you won't be able to resist telling Long Fei. With his temper, he definitely won't let us leave." Xiao Tiantian blurted out, "Isn't that just nice? If we can spend the year with him, you should know about his talent. Bringing him into the Heaven sect would be a great contribution, and the sovereign should reward us." "Reward? Dongfang Jian left half a month ago. Do you think there's a reward for recruiting us?" Yi Ziyan bitterly smiled. "I'm afraid what awaits us is punishment." That night, after Dongfang Jian and Xiao Changfeng left, they did not stay for long, and immediately went back to the Heaven sect. What had happened to the Celestial sect in the past half-month? They didn't need to think to know that there was something here. It definitely wasn't anything good. Xiao Tiantian was so angry that his teeth were itching, and he said, "Dongfang Jian, you were always acting lowly, and the last time I was humiliated by Long Fei, you definitely wouldn't let it go so easily." Liu Luoshi's voice sank slightly as he said, "Little junior sister apprentice, you can never speak of such nonsense in the Heaven sect in the future. He is, after all, the vice sect master's son, and also our senior fellow apprentice." It was also at this time. Liu Luoshi suddenly stopped. Xiao Tiantian lowered his head and did not see Liu Luoshi stop walking, as he ran headfirst into him. "Why aren't you leaving? Elder senior sister, did you change your mind? Are you going to look for Long Fei?" He. "I knew that you couldn't bear to part with Long Fei. You cried so much for him, so you must have liked him in your heart, right?" Yi Ziyan's face turned ugly, giving Xiao Tiantian meaningful glances, telling him to stop speaking. Xiao Tiantian was a straight-headed person. Whatever he said, he would not beat around the bush. Looking at Yi Ziyan's eyes that were constantly moving, he could not help but ask, "Second senior sister, what's wrong with your eyes? Don't you think the same as me?" He. "I knew that big senior would definitely be reluctant to part with Long Fei. Let's all stay. I'm also not willing to part with him." Not waiting for her to finish, Yi Ziyan stepped on her foot and whispered, "Who do you think is up ahead?" Xiao Tiantian's reflex was still very slow, he even forgot the pain in his feet, and said excitedly, "Is it Long Fei? Is he trying to stop us and then make us stay so domineeringly?" This. Suddenly, Xiao Tiantian's expression suddenly changed and his body shrank back. Unknowingly, a wave of fear rose in his heart, not for himself, but for Long Fei. Xiao Tiantian lowered her head, looking like a little girl who had done something wrong, as she muttered, Heaven's End senior fellow apprentice. In front of them stood a young man. He was a little over 20 years old and was dressed in white. His clothes were spotless and the snowflakes on his head were fluttering. Not a single snowflake landed on him. The man was very handsome, and his eyes were a little cold. The man's name was Hong Tianjun, and he was from the Heaven sect. He was the #1 genius amongst the younger generation of the entire South Horizon region. He was also the only son of the current sect master of the Heaven sect, Hong Wantu. Power, talent, potential, and cultivation were all things that could reach the heavens. Hong Tianjun quietly stood there, looking at Liu Luoshi. He faintly smiled, extended his hand towards her, and said, "Luoshi, I'll bring you home." A soft sound. It seemed gentle, but his voice carried an authoritative tone that could not be defied. Obviously, he had heard everything Xiao Tiantian said just now. Liu Luoshi stood in place, did not move, and did not extend his hand either. He only coldly said, "Thank you, senior fellow apprentice." Finished. Liu Luoshi took a step forward, and his eyes looked straight ahead, but he did not see Hong Tianjun as he directly walked past him. Hong Tianjuan's extended hand floated in midair as a snowflake fell from the sky and landed on the back of his hand. At this moment, the snowflake violently exploded. He was reduced to smithereens. His eyes creased slightly. Rejected. Liu Luoshi would never dare to do this in the Heaven sect. The corner of Hong Tianjuan's mouth curled up slightly as he smiled and retracted his hand. After glancing at Xiao Tiantian and Yi Ziyan, he turned around and walked over. "Eldest sister-in-law. Wait. Master has something to say to you." At this moment, Xiao Bai appeared like a white shadow, blocking in front of Liu Luoshi. She ran too quickly, panting a little as she said, "Sister-in-law, please hold up. Your eldest brother still has something he wants to say to you." The two words eldest sister-in-law deeply stimulated Hong Tianjuan's voice. Liu Luoshi's heart sank, and said coldly, "You have recognized the wrong person. I am not some sister-in-law." At this moment, Xiao Tiantian gave Xiao Bai a meaningful look. Yi Ziyan did the same, and thought to herself, "Xiao Bai, you want to kill Long Fei? Hurry up and get out of the way." Equals half carrot float # life carrot. At that moment earlier, they had all felt the fury on Hong Tianjuan's body. Xiao Bai did not notice their gazes and spoke again, "Sister-in-law, I know you are angry at Boss. If I was forcefully kissed by someone, I would also be angry, but Boss really likes you guys. After seeing that note, he went crazy and went to find you guys. Can you guys wait a bit? I'll send a sound transmission to Boss right now." It was also at this time Hong Tianjun walked out coldly, his body brimming with killing intent. Chapter 5. Thank you Xiao Yarrow for your reward of 100,000 mooncakes, thank you. 8_841923565646. Hong Tianjuan's eyes narrowed as he sneered in disdain, "Baby divine beast, this should be that war pet called the dragon dog, right?" Hong Tianjuan's eyes narrowed as he sneered in disdain, "Baby divine beast, this should be that war pet called the dragon dog, right?" Dragon dog. Xiao Bai was furious and immediately raged, "Insulting master, you're courting death." Xiao Bai was furious. Moreover, he couldn't insult Long Fei even if he was insulted. This was his bottom line. The moment the divine beast became enraged, the might of the enormous divine beast pressed down on it. The snowflakes around him rolled together, creating the image of a wolf god as it charged fiercely towards Hong Tianjun. "Humph!" Hong Tianjun sneered. A snowflake slid down beside him, and with one finger holding onto a snowflake, he flicked lightly. Whoosh! Boom! It directly shattered the illusion of the wolf god that was condensed from the snow, and in the blink of an eye, the snow on the other side turned into a tiny ice array as the ice sword pierced towards Xiao Bai's eyes. And at this moment, roar! "Brother Xiao Bai, be careful." Rumble! The flame was as strong as lava, and it was able to melt the tiny ice needle. The huge body then fell to the ground. "Lizard." Hong Tianjun sneered, "Another trash pet came. It's also at the infant stage, really too weak." The Icefire Dragon was also enraged. "Say it again to your father." "Who's a lizard?" He was of the dragon race. The noble dragon race. Although he was one of the lower species in the dragon race, he was a dragon race and the blood lineage of the dragon race flowed in his body. The lizards were insulting him. He could not bear to be insulted like that. Hong Tianjun laughed coldly. I see you guys, a lizard, a wolf that isn't even as strong as a dog, too trash. Looks like you guys only have trash masters and trash pets. His face was filled with contempt. Roar. Ice and fire roared at the sky. Xiao Bai was also enraged, and howled. Hong Tianjun laughed faintly. Yo, the trash can be angry? Where is the owner of your headlock turtle? Just as he finished speaking, Liu Luoshi suddenly stood up and said solemnly, Enough. Liu Luoshi looked at Hong Tianjun and said, Heavenly End Senior Fellow Apprentice, I will go back with you. Finished. This time, Liu Luoshi extended out his hand. His hand was a little red. It was unknown if it was due to the freezing weather or the fact that he was clenching his fists tightly. Hong Tianjun slightly narrowed his eyes, as the corner of his mouth revealed a proud and cold smile. At this moment, Xiao Bai was enraged. Whoever touches my sister-in-law will die. As soon as his voice faded, Xiao Bai disappeared where he was, and the white-colored mirage dodged to the side. He knew that Hong Tianjun was not simple, so he used all his strength to attack. Hong Tianjun suddenly retracted his hand, and his face turned sinister. He was extremely unhappy with the way he called her sister-in-law and sister-in-law. Liu Luoshi was his woman. No one is allowed to touch Hong Tianjun's woman. In the blink of an eye, Hong Tianjun suddenly disappeared, and in that 1,000th of a second, an explosion sounded out in the sky, rumble. Next, a white shadow descended from the sky. Bam! After smashing to the ground started to crack rapidly as Xiao Bai spat out a mouthful of blood. Brother Xiao Bai. Ah! The moment the ice and fire infuriated, the flames in his throat churned. He locked onto Hong Tianjun and was about to spurt out. Rumble. Rumble. Lava burst out like it was burning the heavens, and yet, Hong Tianjun simply did not defend at all, and directly walked into the flames. With a slight movement, the surrounding snowflakes immediately turned into enormous balls of ice. Bam! The ball of ice moved and directly charged into the throat of the fire and ice. The flames exploded in his throat, and the fire and ice sunk down. He took a deep breath, and thick black smoke emerged from his mouth. Blood kept oozing out from his neck. Hong Tianjun laughed disdainfully. You can't even withstand one blow. Two divine beasts. Although he was still at the infant stage, he was still a divine beast. They were too weak in front of Hong Tianjun. Hong Tianjun was also ridiculously strong. They didn't even have the slightest chance of resisting. This feeling was too unbearable. Xiao Bai could not accept it. His body suddenly grew larger, from 1/2 meter tall to more than 2 meters tall. All of the white fur on his body exploded, like numerous steel needles. Wrath of the wolf god. Roar. An incomparably strong power emerged from Xiao Bai's body. The combined power of the spiritual fruit of heaven and earth and divine beast also meant the accumulation of 50 spirit stones. He rushed out without caring about anything else. Boom. It instantly crashed into Hong Tianjun's body. Hong Tianjun's eyes turned sinister as he used both hands to block the wolf head. It was also at this moment. A roar came out of Xiao Bai's throat, and from the head of the wolf, a substantial image of a ferocious wolf rushed out, pouncing straight towards the center of Hong Tianjun's brows. Xiao Bai said arrogantly, "Prepare to die." This was his ultimate move. Soul Reaper, violent wolf. As long as they assaulted the space between Hong Tianjun's eyebrows, they would be able to swallow his soul. Hong Tianjun retreated back continuously as he felt a sense of danger in his heart. However, anger raged in his heart. To him, this was like being humiliated. His eyes turned sinister as his aura suddenly changed. He shouted, "You're courting death." Suddenly, he blocked Xiao Bai's attack with one hand and his right leg trembled as a tremendous power was unrestrainedly released from his body. Boom! A loud sound came from the sky as Hong Tianjun struck his palm onto the wolf phantom and shouted, "Harvest your own soul then." Bam! The strong power pushed the image of the fierce wolf back into Xiao Bai's mind. Moreover, as the palm struck down, Xiao Bai's head felt like it was about to split open. His enormous body suddenly flew out and heavily smashed into the ground. His body continued to tremble. It was painful, but there was no sound. Hong Tianjun was also enraged. Taking a step forward, the thick snow beneath his feet immediately melted into water and evaporated swiftly. Step by step, he walked towards Xiao Bai. Liu Luoshi suddenly rushed forward and blocked in front of Hong Tianjun, saying, "They are just baby war pet, let them go one at a time, I will follow you." Xiao Tiantian and Yi Xian also ran over and said anxiously, "Senior fellow apprentice Ju Tian, please spare them. I beg you." Hong Tianjun stared at Liu Luoshi, and the corners of his eyes twitched. "Is it because of that trash? You're the trash. Your entire family is trash. F***ck, who do you think you are?" Xiao Bai endured the pain and cursed. He would definitely not allow anyone to say that Long Fei was trash in front of him. Because no one knew Long Fei better than him. No one knew better than him how Long Fei trained and broke through the shackles again and again. No one was more hardworking than Long Fei. Baidu sister-in-law AA half. Floating life's strongest upgrade system, he absolutely would not allow anyone to insult Long Fei. Ice and Fire also roared, "Master isn't a trash." Ha ha ha. Hong Tianjun let out a cold and crazed laugh. His figure flashed, and stood in front of Xiao Bai, staring down at him from above. Chapter 6. Thank you Xiao Yarrow for your support of the 100,000 mooncakes. Thank you. 8_841923565547. The north wind whistled and snow flew everywhere. The north wind whistled and snow flew everywhere. The eastern gate was deathly silent. Hong Tianjun was too fast. Liu Luoshi could not stop him at all. Hong Tianjun stood in front of Xiao Bai, coldly stared at him, and asked sinisterly, "Tell me again, who's the trash?" "You." Xiao Bai didn't hesitate at all. Bam! Hong Tianjun also did not stop there, his foot heavily stepping on Xiao Bai's head. He laughed madly. "One more time, who is the trash?" "You." Xiao Bai's eyes did not even bat an eye as he said, "Just you wait, your big brother will kill you one day, one day." Bam! Hong Tianjun stomped his foot down heavily again, and laughed, "Who's the trash?" "You." Xiao Bai's mouth was dripping with blood, but he was still as tough as before. Hong Tianjun chopped down his leg again. He had lost his patience and asked coldly, "Let me ask you one last time, who is the trash?" "This is the last time. It is also your last chance to live. As long as you say that Long Fei is trash, you can live." Without waiting for Hong Tianjun to finish speaking, Xiao Bai immediately roared at him, "You are trash, you are trash, you are F***king trash, understand? You are a piece of trash. Just you wait, there will be a day when the old bastard kicks you, ha ha ha. Kill me, F***king kill me if you dare, ha ha ha." Xiao Bai was also going crazy. Bing Hua said solemnly, "Big brother Xiao Bai." Hong Tianjuan's expression became more and more sinister, his teeth chattered as he said, "Die." Liu Luoshi shouted, "Hong Tianjun, if you dare kill him, I will die for you." Xiao Tiantian and Yi Xian also quickly ran over and pleaded once more, "Senior fellow apprentice Ju Tian, don't kill him, I beg of you." Others can plead. However, only one person could not, and that was Liu Luoshi. Now that she dared to threaten him with her death, Hong Tianjun turned his head to look at Liu Luoshi, who was holding the sword against his neck, and laughed sinisterly. Suddenly, his figure seemed to have been split into two as he instantly seized Liu Luoshi's sword. At the same time, he slapped his palm on her body, causing Liu Luoshi to instantly become weak and powerless. At the same time, also in an instant, Hong Tianjun returned to Xiao Bai's side and sinisterly said, "Die. Those who touch my brother, die." A furious roar exploded. A man slowly walked out dragging a dragon salyer that was shining with a bloody red light. Long Fei. Hong Tianjuan's gaze trembled, the corner of his mouth slightly lifted, and disdainfully sneered, "Trash, you're finally here. Is he your brother? If even a dog is your brother, then you are also a dog, ha ha ha. You have to die too." Hong Tianjuan's expression changed. He stared at Long Fei, a cold aura being released from his feet, the aura becoming like a blade, slashing down heavily. In the moment of 1,000 catties, Long Fei's heart sank. Wu Shuang. Wang. Double stats were unleashed. Teleport. Her figure disappeared and she instantly appeared beside Hong Tianjun. The bloody aura of the dragon Salia dispersed and she slashed out, "Dragon God shocking, rumble, rumble, rumble." A series of sonic booms resounded in the sky. The explosive sound of Dragon Salia's wreaking havoc in the space. Hong Tianjun frowned. If he continued to kill Xiao Bai, he himself would also be injured. In front of Liu Luoshi, he must not have the slightest wound. Immediately, he jumped backwards and flew straight into the air, quietly floating in mid-air. He sneered slightly and said, "Supreme artifact." Long Fei did not look at him. He supported Xiao Bai up, and quickly swallowed a few healing pills into his mouth. It was the same with fire and ice. Xiao Bai looked at Long Fei and said anxiously, "Master, leave quickly," with his cultivation. Cultivation base. "I'm afraid that you have already reached the War Emperor realm. Too strong. Master, you have to leave War Emperor realm." Xiao Tiantian also shouted loudly, "Long Fei, quickly leave this place, leave quickly." As he spoke, Xiao Tiantian's tears started to gush out of her eyes, because she was incomparably worried, and said, "He will kill you, I'm begging you, hurry up and leave." Yi Xian supported Liu Luoshi, her eyes glistening with tears as she said, "He will really kill you. Long Fei, you should leave quickly." Liu Luoshi was weak, she did not even have the strength to commit suicide, and spoke with difficulty, "Long Fei, leave quickly." At this moment, Yang Huang ancestor's voice sounded, "Brat, you're not his opponent, it's best for you to leave." Everyone told him to leave. Even the Yang Huang ancestor wanted him to leave. "Ah!" Long Fei roared. He felt good. This feeling made him extremely unhappy. Liu Luoshi said loudly, "Long Fei, leave for me." Long Fei took a step forward, causing the idea to forcefully retract Xiao Bai and Bing Hua back into the war pet space, and then stared at Hong Tianjun who was in midair, who was filled with contempt. His body moved. The idea roared in his heart, "Wind Shadow Step, 4th stage, open, boom, ding." Congratulations to player Long Fei for leveling up to Wind Shadow Step. Current level, 4, Moonlit Step. Whoosh. He took a step forward, and instantly landed in midair, his body also floating in the air. He stared at Hong Tianjun, and said, "Those who touch my woman, die. Those who touch my brother, die." Without waiting for Hong Tianjun to speak, Long Fei's idea sank, and directly exploded his power to the maximum. The peerless attribute was Burning Dragon Salia technique. Open the skin, whoosh. His figure disappeared and Long Fei slashed down. With a flash of blood red, he directly slashed towards Hong Tianjuan's head. Hong Tianjuan's eyes moved slightly as he said with a cold smile, "A trash is a trash. Even the supreme artifact in your hands wouldn't be able to unleash 1,000th of their power." As soon as he finished, his body moved, and without waiting for Long Fei's dragon Salia to fall, he flicked his finger. His fingers had become a sword. Sword Chi soared to the sky, one attack struck Long Fei's chest. Finger sword. Break. Poochie. Long Fei's chest was pierced through by a sword Chi, blood spurted out from his back, and his body became heavy as well, falling down from the sky. One move. One move. He directly dropped Long Fei's Dragon Salia technique. Bam! Long Fei smashed onto the ground, with a heavy slap of his right hand, his body sprung, Moonlit Step. Whoosh! Once again rushing into the air, the Dragon Salia fought yet again, its blade aura soaring to the sky. However, Hong Tianjun laughed disdainfully, then said with a sneer, "You're too weak. Is it even worth trying to steal my woman?" Another finger sword attack came. This time, it was his left chest that was penetrated. Blood spurted out like an arrow. Long Fei fell down once more. Realm. The difference in realms was too great. He was only a war chief realm and Hong Tianjun was already a war emperor realm. According to the levels in the game, there was a difference of almost 30 levels. With such a huge gap, how could he be his opponent? However, Long Fei was unconvinced, but unhappy. Even though his whole body was dripping with blood, the moment he got up, he still charged forward regardless of anything else. Hong Tianjun sneered, "You're courting death." Chapter 7. Thank you Xiao Yarrow for your support. 8_841923565548. You're tuning in to the Celestial War YouTube channel. Don't forget to subscribe and join us on this journey to catch the most captivating stories,